We're on.
We're on.
All right. What's up, Big Brown Breakdown listeners? Thanks for joining me on this lovely Tuesday afternoon. It is noon here in Los Angeles, California. My allergies are kicking like fucking karate. They are just raging. I used freaking whatever they call it, Nasonex.
Nasonex?
I don't know. I use Claritin. None of this shit is helping. I have skeptical hippo eyes. Is it allergies or am I getting sick?
When's the last time you've been sick?
God, I don't get sick very often, man.
You had that thing with your throat or something
Yeah,
last
I was
time.
dying.
That's
Yeah.
not like sick though, right?
God, you could kind of chalk that up being sick. My ears just wouldn't unplug.
Oh yeah, that. Are they back yet?
Yeah, I'm good now. I'm good. Thank God, sweet baby Jesus. Allergies are a bitch, man. When I was a kid playing football or doing anything, soccer, anything, and if I touch the grass, I'd get red bumps. Like I'm allergic to grass, pollen. You have
sensitive
allergies?
skin. Remember I told you when I walk in here, this building,
Only
for
here.
some reason my nose starts, I get like a runny nose.
You're allergic to 9 to 5 jobs.
Probably.
That's
but
what's
this is
going
not even
on.
a 9 to 5, so
I know, but everyone else in here is 9 to 5. And
There you go.
Maybe.
I'm
Maybe.
allergic to their 9 to 5 now.
God, dog, allergies are terrible out here. Better in Denver, though. What can you do? Things are good, man. Fire Kid yesterday was outrageous. I don't know what happened. We got way out of hand
It was fun.
in a good way. And then, just getting ready. We got the Big Brown Breakdown live at the Comedy Store in La Jolla Thursday night. Bitch is sold out. And I will have the Roots of Fight Big Brown Breakdown collab tees for sale at the live show. So at the one Thursday night, we will have them. I reserved some, so they're sold out online, but I reserved some just for the live Big Brown Breakdown fans. So Thursday night in La Jolla, and then next week at the Ice House, I will also have some of the Big Brown Breakdown Roots of Fight collab tees as well. And that's the plan, man. Those will be the tees for the live shows just for the next 2 weeks, and then once they're sold out, they're sold out. But
Sweet.
that's the plan. Looking forward to it. I love that area, La Jolla. Me and Chin will be down there. Agent A, you going too? Agent A's going to be slanging them tees for you guys. Tell her what's up. Say, what's up, girl? What's up, girl? Other than that, man, just busy. I'm moving this week. That's always a bitch. And then, that is life, man. Other than that, not much else, brother. Not much else. UFC's taking a little bit of a break because they go on these kind of, especially with a huge UFC fight card like UFC 211.
Yeah.
They give you a little break so everyone buys into that pay-per-view. But I'm not complaining, man. Their cards have been killer lately.
Yep,
They're just
they
not
have
getting the kind of the momentum they deserve. But I mean, if you're a purist of the sport or you like good fights, they've been some bangers lately. They started off, the first quarter of the year was rough. The main events were awful. You had with the New York shenanigans, shit shows and stuff like that. Is a bit of a lackluster year so far, the first quarter. But I feel like these last two cards are picking up. Then you got 211. So, they're starting to gain some ground. But I don't know. And then obviously Bellator's doing their thing with the big Madison Square Garden pay-per-view. Then they had the Rampage King Mo. So right now in the life of MMA, it's all good. And then boxing, people say, boxing's dead. You couldn't be more wrong. You just got to pay attention. You just got to open your eyes. But because there's so much going on in the boxing world. And on this episode, once we get through all the MMA news and stuff like that, I'm bringing in Tony Jeffries, who, if you guys remember, was my coach, my boxing coach when I was fighting in the UFC. He's from England, Sunderland, and he he was an Olympic bronze medalist, and we're bringing him in to break down the mega fight of Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko, which happens on Saturday. I think it's Saturday. It's the afternoon our time, and so they're airing it on Showtime and HBO for the first time. Like, they're both doing it. They both have their sets. I'm usually an HBO guy. I like the team. I like Max Kellerman a lot. Bernard Hopkins. Then you got Roy Jones, all those guys. I'm usually with them. So I'll probably watch on HBO. But yeah, we'll bring Tony, and he has some great stories. He was on the national team with Amir Khan, all the guys.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a beast as far as boxing. He just happens to be one of his gym. I think he got ranked #1 fitness gym in California. I think how many fitness gyms are in California. And that's where I train all the time. So I thought it'd be good to drop some boxing knowledge and just life in general, as far as him being an Olympic boxer and life after boxing and stuff like that. So he'll be a good one. He's in a little bit later. So let's jump on into this crazy UFC Bellator MMA World Chin.
Sounds good. Well, the first one is obviously Iaquinta making a bunch of noise ever since knocking out Diego Sanchez. He has a big beef with the UFC right now, and he's saying right here in this article that he's not sure if he wants to continue. He doesn't see it. He doesn't know if it's actually worth all the money that he's not getting and the damage he's putting on his body. Mm-hmm. And there's just a bunch more here, but I'm sure you have a lot to say about this.
Scroll down. He had some great quotes. He's a real estate agent. He's 13-3. So he says he doesn't understand how the UFC can sign an apparel contract with Reebok to be more like the NFL, but then still call fighters independent contractors, unlike NFL players who are employees of the union. He got 26-26, so you figure that's $52,000 after taxes, training camp. He's making about high 20s.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, after you pay for your training camp, your agents, taxes, the paychecks. He says, "I love fighting, but I'm not going to ruin my body. This is no game, man. This is for reals." Yep, as real as it gets, my man. It's the 26 is not a lot of money for doing what I'm doing, for being on TV, for me driving the car I'm driving. I'd love to know what car he drives. I got to be living a lot better than this. I could be doing anything in the world and making the same kind of money. I don't have the risk of getting hurt. I don't need to fight now. I have my real estate career. I'm set with that. So if I want to fight, I'll fight. Raging Al said everything went right on Saturday. Keep going down, brother. Let's see. I really enjoy selling the real estate. I got my fix for fighting now. I'm good for now. I haven't thought about it. I just thought about it tonight. I just want to get in there and have fun, and that's exactly what I did. See, that interview, those quotes are before he realized he didn't get a UFC bonus. So, yeah, and then if you go to social media, he didn't get the 50,000 performance bonus. So he goes, "Hey, at UFC, go fuck yourself." Then this place is getting wrecked, referring to the hotel which he's wrecked before.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
and he did put a link of the UFC's official Twitter. They listed the bonuses. He's not on there, and of course he writes, "Just fuck you."
Yeah, so the UFC, they always tweet out the performance bonuses, and Swanson and won, and freaking Perry won, so the knockout over Jake Ellenberger, so he didn't get it. So he quotes that and then just puts "fuck you," and then that's where he put "this place is getting wrecked. Hey UFC, go fuck yourself." Is that all from Iaquinta?
And then he was saying that the bonuses are a way that the UFC is controlling the fighters.
I don't know if it's a way of controlling the fighters because there's only 3. It's their way of saying be exciting. Like you could get an extra 50 grand, and those bonuses should be way more. But they did this, it's flat fee of 50 and 50. And I'm actually on Al's side here, but the thing is, if you're gonna go this route, which I did way before him, if you remember. If you're gonna go this route, they're not gonna do you any favors. So bonuses gone. You're not even up for debate there, because Dana ultimately decides who gets the bonuses. There's usually a little bit of a team, I remember, and you won't even be considered for it. So you got to realize there's going to be some repercussions. This is one of them. The other one is you're probably not going to be on the main cards anymore. So if he is going to go this route, unless you're a Conor McGregor, a Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, it's just not going to work out for you typically. John Jones thing about all the stuff he's done, but he's pound for pound one of the greatest of all time. So they're going to put up. He'll still be on the main cards, and obviously, this next fight he won't be the main event, but will be a co-main event. He's a big draw. But if you're a guy like Al, who's very talented, very outspoken, fun fighter on a win streak, he'll be in the top 10, I assume now, after just dismantling Diego Sanchez after a 2-year layoff. He might be top 10, top 12. Either way, though, you're just not. The chips still aren't in your corner, unfortunately. So he's going to see some serious repercussions.
I think that's what he's also talking about with it's controlling the fighters. He's saying if he doesn't speak up, they're taking away that kind of stuff from him. I mean, if he does speak up, they're taking away those things like the main card, the main events, and all that stuff. They're gonna stop him from doing that because he's speaking up, because he's talking smack. But he's in a position now where he's making money off of real estate. He doesn't have to suck up. That's why he's talking all this crap. But he's saying that they're controlling the fighters by, waiving that $50,000, and
it's their way of saying, don't leave it to the judges. Go out there and perform. Which, as a fighter, that doesn't even cross your mind. Like, you're going to do what you're going to do. If it's exciting, things happen, you get to finish great. But you're never going there just thinking, I got to get this bonus. No one ever does that.
Yeah,
ever. If it happens, it happens. Like when I choked out Mitrione. And I have my thoughts on that, why I didn't get the bonus. I'm sure you guys can figure out when you look deeper into it. But, it was the first heavyweight Dar submission ever. They gave it to a guy on the undercard who got a guillotine.
I think that's what he's saying, though. He's saying that, like, that's how they're holding it over your head. Like, you're talking smack. You deserve that $50,000, but we're not going to give it to you.
I wasn't
because you're
talking smack.
Oh,
I was dating someone at the time who Daddy didn't like.
There you
know
go.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, there you go.
So, and when I thought I was a lock. I got in the back of the locker room. My coach's like, "Dude, you realize that was the first Darce choke?" Either Darce or Iaquinta, because Nogueira got one, but they gave his an Iaquinta or mine a Darce. I forget which one that they labeled, but it was the first one in the heavyweight division to ever get a finish like that in the first round. And I was like, shit, breaking records, son, sent a record for. And we went back, we're like, who else got a submission? I remember my coach, Henner, being like, oh, that guy just got a guillotine, but man, he's on the undercard and he didn't submit like, a beast like Mitrione at the time. Sure enough, they got another card. I was pissed, man. But this was before all the Reebok stuff before, so I was like, all right, just bite your tongue, man. Hopefully you get a good bonus in the mail. Didn't get a good bonus in the mail. So, it's all subjective. Imagine, you guys listen now, you're in a 9 to 5 or whatever you do, and you have a boss, and he goes, hey, hit these certain things, and you could get a bonus, and then the people next to you hit something else, or you hit but it's all, think about the anxiety, like just not knowing, and it's all subjective. It's like, I actually like guillotines better than Darce chokes. Yeah, but that was the first one in the heavyweight division of all time, first finish, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't think it looks cool. I'm the one who makes the decisions. Well, fuck, man, that's not cool. Or I don't like it that he's dating this person. So how
that's
weird
terrible.
is that? So, man, Al's right here. It's just I wish he could come on here. I'll give him all the mic time he wants. And Al, you get 1 million listeners, buddy. We're averaging 1 million listeners per episode. So if you want to come on here and get your voice out, you got it. There's no show you can do bigger to get your voice out. Let's just be real. You can go on UFC Tonight, I kill them rating wise. You can go on any Fight Pass, I destroy them. So if you want to come on here, you want a voice, you got it. The door is open, my man. The issue is they're not going to promote you. I'm all for what you're doing, and it takes a special kind of person to risk everything that you're doing. But there's going to be some repercussions. What you can't do is just go into real estate and go away after you do this. You got to fight the fight. You got to fight the good fight. You got to stick it to the man, keep fighting, keep winning, become undeniable, and think of other ways to get your voice out. Podcasts, depending on which ones, are way bigger than any show you can do UFC related. Not even close. Any show on Fox, in ESPN, any of those. You can get your voice out. Just stay in the media, man. Stay in there and keep fighting the good fight. But what you can't do is just disappear. You can't cause this shitstorm like, I'm good with my real estate, because then you're not moving the needle. You're just adding to the problem. They're going because what the UFC is going to do, a la Roger Huerta, a la, keep naming people here. What they're going to do is you're going to get put probably, you might be on the Fox card, but you're going to be on the undercard. You're not getting a lot of promotion. You're not getting a lot of this stuff, and then they're going to use you as an example. You want to speak up? You want to talk shit? Look what happened to Al. And Al was a winner. Al won 4 straight. This is what happens. So he can go one of 2 ways, and I hope he chooses the latter.
You think if he was not, like, if he didn't knock out Diego Sanchez and he was still, like, mouthy, do you think Dana White or the UFC would have went on record saying something about him, like, you're not doing this, why should you be doing that?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like
because they haven't even addressed it, right?
No, nothing. Since he knocked out in absolute fabulous fashion.
Because how are you going to argue?
Sanchez, yeah.
How are you going to argue? What are you going to argue? No, we like this one. They don't have an argument. They're just like, we don't answer anyone, man. You want to talk to our management? Yeah. Dana's managed by WME, who owns the UFC. Who are you going to talk to? Who are you going to complain to? Human resources? Go to WME and talk to human resources. They own the company. So you're in the shitstorm, but what you got to do is you got to think of other branches and other ways to get your voice out. That's why I don't know his financial situation, but you get to a certain level where you should not rely on the UFC to get your story out and get your voice heard. You should hire your own publicist. And if your manager or agent doesn't have a publicist for you in-house, I would bring it up to him immediately. And you shouldn't have to pay for it. It should come in that fee that you pay them, the 10%, 5%, 15%, whatever you're paying them on your fight purse or whatever it is from a sponsor. They should be taken for a publicist, especially a guy like Al, especially if you're Cyborg, especially if you're Amanda Nunes. If I'm Amanda Nunes, dude, that's the
number one
get
priority.
A publicist.
Yeah.
Get a publicist. She should be on the front cover of every gay magazine. She'd be on billboards down West Hollywood. She should be all over. I don't hear a peep from her at all. Because, and again, it's not their job to think of this because they should be thinking about fighting and getting better and doing that. But their management needs to think outside the box. How can I get my client bigger? Well, you could hire a legit publicist. And think if Amanda Nunes went on Loveline, Rogan, Corolla, Firing the Kid, she's all over. You're not going to tune into that story? You hear a heartfelt story? Then go do your UFC Tonight where you can get your typical crap. But UFC Tonight's not a needle mover. It's a great show. I love everyone involved in that show, and I actually really like the show, and I love Kenny and Woodley and DC. I love all those people. And Karen Bryant and the producer of that show, they're fucking great. But you've already sold them. We know who Al is there. We know who Amanda Nunes is. We know who Mighty Mouse is there. But what you need to do is get outside that box. And they're just, unfortunately, not thinking about it. Think about all the people who crossed over. Name people. Ronda Rousey had her own publicist. Had a management team that had their own publicist. Brock Lesnar has his own publicist. Chuck Liddell, own publicist. Randy Couture, own publicist. Anderson Silva, own publicist. All these superstars. They all have their own thing going on because you can't just rely on this huge company with all these moving pieces to expect them to check off all the boxes just for you and then get upset. Right now you should be upset at your manager and yourself for not giving you that platform. But without, I mean, yeah, man, I get it. He says here, Dana White has done a lot for this sport, but he's not gotten one injury from the sport. Correct. I couldn't probably his blood pressure dealing with all this shenanigans. The only thing hurting. Iaquinta said, and for him to say the best part of UFC Brooklyn was the flight home, you're on a private jet, bro. Shut the fuck up. You're
crazy.
On a private jet. Most people, that would be the highlight of their life. Forget the night. You're in a private jet. Of course it's the highlight of your fucking night. 2 guys are fighting in a cage getting hurt. Jim Miller probably couldn't walk. Dana White owes an apology to all those motherfuckers. That's some bullshit. Shut your fucking mouth. Again, he's saying what everyone is thinking, but get ready, man.
This is the harshest I've seen anyone come at Dana White.
Oh, you're dealing with a New Jersey boy. You're dealing with a Jersey boy who's unfiltered,
Yeah.
And his coach happens to be best friends with Dana White.
Oh yeah, freaking Matt Serra, right?
Matt Serra, Ray
Holy
Longo
crap.
are very close. I don't know how this ends for him. I don't know, how much control does Dana White have now that the company's sold? I don't know. I know back in the day, you would have had some problems, So again, I like what Al's doing. He has open door to come on this show. I'm a huge fan of him. He has all the talent in the world. But you can't just go away. You know, that's like, you know, that you're putting up a fight going, yeah, that's fucked up, man. I'm out, though. Well, shit, you got to stay and fight for the other guys. You know, I don't know. My way, you know, people say, well, that's what you left. I did leave, but I fight in a different way. I bring things in a different way.
Yeah.
I get eyeballs, listeners in a different way now. I'm still fighting the good fight. Don't get it twisted, son. But for Al, he's young. He has so much potential. He's a phenomenal fighter. I just don't want to see him just get royally screwed. That's why I don't. But what you can't do, like I said, man, and then we'll move on. You can't just do this and then back off and wait for your next matchup because they're not going to be nice to you, man. They're not going to be nice to you at all. I see there on a side note says Kenny Florian gets choked to sleep in BJJ match.
I have this up there too. But
do you?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it when we get to it. Go ahead, let's move on. But anyone knows that Al, if he's in LA or whatever he wants, the door's open for you to come on, man. Just you're fighting the good fight and you got talent, but you can't just disappear, pal. You stirred the pot and you got to fucking stay in the stew now.
Well, this is a great start, I'm sure. All right, so the next event is for Bellator 180. Phil Davis, or actually Ryan Bader's not going to be fighting Muhammad Lawal anymore, King Mo, because King Mo has like an undisclosed injury. So the fight that everyone expected to happen in the first place is going to take place now for the first pay-per-view, or the second pay-per-view, right?
I love it. And this is in Madison Square Garden?
Yeah.
God damn, that's a
June
good card.
24th. I believe.
Hey, Scott, Eric, I know you guys listen to the show. Let's do something with this goddamn card. Let's do Max Kellerman style sit down one-on-one. We got to figure something out for this card, man. I mean, it's stacked, son. It's a ridiculous card. I like it. Listen, I love King Mo versus Ryan Bader, but Phil Davis, Big Brown Breakdown alumni, one of the first fighters to come on the show. I love Phil Davis, man. I always watch Phil fight. It's a great fight. You know, it's a rematch that happened in the UFC, but it's a great, great fight. That whole card is a freaking banger. Because you got, obviously Fedor and Mitrione, you got Sonnen, Wanderlei, you got Douglas Lima versus Michael Chandler. Chandler might be my favorite fighter in Bellator. I feel like he'd go right to the UFC right now, and God, he could compete with anyone in the top three. You know, he's just a nightmare to deal with. We're getting him on the show fairly soon, probably after that. He was supposed to come on, then he's in, I think, Florida training or some shit like that. Get in shape for a world championship fight. Get your priorities straight, man. I love this fight. I love this, especially for Bader. You know, for him to go there, that King Mo fight's big, but not as big as getting a title shot. So it makes sense. I wonder what's going on with King Mo. Hopefully he gets better soon because I love watching him fight as well. So the light heavyweight division in Bellator ain't bad, man. I mean, just compare this for a second. You compare Bellator's light heavyweight division, top 5 compared to UFC's. Take out John Jones and DC. I mean, they have there's an argument. They have it's right there. Yeah. It's right there. And DC's older.
Yeah.
Glover's older. Everyone's getting old. That light heavyweight division is freaking land of the dinosaurs, just like heavyweights right now. But older guys last longer. What else you got, brother? Okay. I'm stoked for that card. It's in June
24th, and so Bader won the first fight, but it was a split decision. People thought that
it was
Davis won. So this is a good redemption fight, I guess, for Davis.
I love that fight.
All right, so the next event or next thing is Frank Mir. So he got popped in March of last year for that crazy hard to pronounce thing.
What was it?
DH.
Yeah.
Dehydrochlormethyl testosterone.
DHCMT.
The one they said he possibly got from eating kangaroo meat or something like that. Anyways.
No comment. I love you, Frank. No comment.
Yeah, he was on the show too. So he finally got his suspension handed down, and it's for 2 years, but it's retroactive to that date from March of last year. So he has another year left. But his issue here is he's saying that the UFC before.
Why does he look so sad in that picture?
And then, of course, the way they do this at MMA Mania, they make like funny looking, pictures.
They find the worst
headlines,
picture where you're just at the worst time of your life, and they're like, "What?" His headline says, "UFC stopped caring about Frank Mir," and that hurt his feelings. And then he just has like Sarah McLachlan should be just playing that sad tune right now, and they have this picture of his poor weathered face. I fucking love Frank.
It is a crazy, funny picture.
So he spent 2 years.
Yeah.
And this is coming after his fight with Mark Hunt, where he got knocked out.
Yes.
He blames the kangaroos, those fucking kangaroos. Australia, I get down there, you keep those kangos away from me. So Mir's conversation on the MMA Hour. My feelings have been hurt. Yes, I don't feel the same about the company as I felt years ago. We'll get into that. And I'm seeing that even with some of the ways they're handling things, the way they handle them now, there's been several times where I'm like, wow, if Lorenzo was still there at the office, if Dana was still in full control and not just a minority shareholder, would that have ever happened? I don't know about that. I don't know if this is the same company that I started with 15 years ago. You don't know if it's the same company started 15 years ago? Frank, and I know you guys are listening, Frank, it's not the same company started 15 years ago. Joe Silva's not there who found you on the football field and convinced you to fight for the UFC. You do not have a personal relationship with the owners of the UFC now. It's nowhere near the same, brother. It's not, man. You go file a complaint with Human Resources. Let me know who you talk to. Go complain about the way you've been treated. Go complain about Reebok. Who are you going to talk to, man? It's just they're in the machine now, man. So you either get with it or you move on. But for Frank, he's a legend of the sport. I think, they're making that T-Mobile, where the fuck it's called, the UFC arena, facility for the UFC to study, brain and best way to work out and maintenance and rehab and all that. Mm-hmm. They need to, they should have a Frank Mir statue in there. She's from Las Vegas. He's part of the Hall of Fame out there.
Well, he talked about that too, where he was kind of hurt by the fact that he wanted Dana White to be there during that induction because it's like it's a big deal, right?
Huge deal.
Yeah. So he wanted Dana.
Think about all the fighters in UFC in the Hall of Fame.
He's the only one, right?
Yeah,
he's the only one that
and
got
Dana
to that
didn't go.
Yeah.
I just Dana's busy. I get that, but also with Frank, it's like now you've seen this is how it goes, man. This is how it goes.
Yeah. So he was saying that in this era. Because with this whole freaking not passing this test, and there's so many things he says, like if you listen to his explanation, he goes into this whole thing where he spent like 30 grand of his own money doing tests to find out what this thing was, how he got it, because he doesn't want to get it again. He has no idea which supplement he was taking.
Don't eat the kangaroo, son.
I don't know.
Here you go.
I don't know where he's going.
Lay off the kangaroo patties. I don't know if that was it, but yeah, it's a bummer. Frank Mir's a legend. He'll be a Hall of Famer. Obviously, he's a Las Vegas fighting Hall of Famer. But I heard him a while ago. He wanted to go over and fight in that Russia league. He was like, "Just let me go. I'll go fight in Russia."
He wants to be released.
He wants to be released,
but they're not releasing him. So he finds it really weird too. He just wants to talk to Dana about it. Apparently, he made plenty of phone calls.
They won't get back to him.
He's getting no calls back.
Dang, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
They're fucking up, man. What got him to the dance? The cha-cha got you to dance. Now you want to do the waltz. It's gonna fuck your flow up, man. The girl's gonna leave you. By girl, I mean every fighter. What else you got? Shout out to Frank Mir.
Next one is the World Series of Fighting, which is basically, if everyone's paying attention, it seems like it's a dying league. Well, they're rebranding themselves as the Professional Fighters League, and it's going to start next year, January of next year.
You mean IFL?
Well, they're doing it.
You mean
individuals?
IFL?
Individuals, not teams.
Not teams.
Yeah, not
Gotcha.
teams. So that's the only difference. That's one of the differences.
It's called the PFL. Is it still going to be on CBS Sports?
NBC. It's not going to be. I don't think they're renewing with NBC, so I'm not sure what's going to happen
free
with
agent?
it. Yeah.
But they're doing like monthly salaries is the way they're going to pay him, right?
That's what I read too, monthly salary. And for this thing, they're going to do, it's like an actual sports league where they'll have different seasons, different people compete. Those winners move on to the next round, and they move on to the point where they go to the championship. And then the championship round, they win like, I think, $1 million.
Damn, son.
And then the other people that didn't make it, like the semi, what do you call that?
Semifinals?
Semifinalists will get, they'll share like a $3 million prize.
I wonder what the monthly payout is. Do we have any idea?
I have no idea.
Man,
I'm sure it has to be like depending on the fighter, how famous they are,
Yeah. Well, can you do that? Because then you're talking about the Reebok plan.
Then it would mess it up a little bit.
But if you're guaranteed, so that's the thing with Reebok. That was an original idea I had where they pay them a monthly salary. Because if you're going to cut down and you're only going to pay them whatever $3,000 or $5,000 for the fight, just give them a monthly salary to make up for it. But apparently that's not.
I'm sure more details will come in, but this is like the initial. So
promotional officials won't comment on who will become the current, on what will become of current World Series of Fighting champions. Ivanov, heavyweight. John Fitch, welterweight. Justin Gaethje, lightweight, who's a free agent. Andre Harrison, featherweight. Magomedov, bantamweight. Gaethje recently became free agent. I'm surprised he didn't sign with UFC or Bellator, to be honest with you. It's also unclear how many current World Series of Fighting fighters will. That was a mouthful. World Series of Fighting fighters will be brought over to the new PFL. Currently, they have 100 fighters. You can't put everyone on salary. The 100.
And even John Fitch, I think he tweeted. I heard this on Ariel's show or somewhere that he tweeted like, "What? We're changing into a new league." He had no idea.
Yeah, bitch. That's how you found out. Oh, you champ? Not anymore. That's the league. You got to earn that shit back. Yeah, it's a new thing. Wow.
Yeah, but when it says that will be brought over to the PFL, does that mean that the World Series of Fighting will still be around too? This is a little weird.
Nope. It's unclear how many current World Series of Fighting fighters. So
the rest are going to be.
Hey, new league, son. We only can bring over 50. We got 100 of you. 100 are getting
that
cut.
Sucks.
Or 50 are getting cut. I bet half. You'll figure it out. The fucking useless advice. You got it. You'll figure it out, man.
Damn.
Ray Seffel will continue with part of the group. Nice, man. Well, I like the idea. It's, they got a lot of hoops to fucking jump through. And I like the idea, though. Monthly salary. I can't imagine it's going to be that high. But compared to what, some of the lower level guys are getting paid, even the UFC, it could really work out.
It's cool that they're doing these things, though. They're innovating.
Step in the right direction. Yeah. What else you got, brother?
All right. The best news. Daniel Cormier versus John Jones 2 for UFC 214. That's July 29. And that's in my hood, Orange County, Anaheim.
Oh shit, that's the same one Cyborg's on too? Yeah.
Oh, the is it rumored or is it
No,
guaranteed?
It's confirmed.
It's confirmed?
It's confirmed.
Oh, this is going to be a sick card.
We're also I have to do the Comedy Festival in Montreal, but we're trying to figure it out because I want to do either on Thursday or Friday night before that huge fight at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach, a Big Brown Breakdown live for this card.
Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. With special guests, that could be dope. That's what we want to do. Damn, that Anaheim card's going to be huge. Like I said, I think if I'm John Jones' camp, I would like a warm up fight before jumping in there. But after seeing DC's last fight, I was not. I mean, he obviously got it done. He was obviously fighting Anthony Johnson, who was kind of half in, half out, and did a horrible game plan, and he ended up winning the fight. But DC did not look. I didn't think he looked great in that fight, man. I thought if a prime Anthony Johnson stepped in there, he would have been in a little bit of trouble. He looked out of shape. He did take that huge kick to the face, but he kept on kicking. Bad term there. You get what I'm trying to say. But man, the ring rust is real. But with John, and we also saw it with John and OSP. But it's DC's not getting any younger. Kane's not going to be there too. Again, I'm assuming for this camp. So it's hard to pick against John Jones. It just is. And that last fight, you're gonna see in the promos like last time they fought out to a battle. It was such a duel. Not really. No, it wasn't that close of a fight. And they hate each other. I just feel like John Jones with a chip on his shoulder. God, what a nightmare.
It is, but he's such a long. I wonder because of the layoff. I mean, you would probably know this way more than me. Because of the long layoff, and then Daniel Cormier's been active, but he hasn't had the guys with him that he wants to to be a better fighter, like Kane training with him. Would that make it more of a competitive fight this time around?
Yeah, and also I think DC's dealt with some injuries. He's getting older. His body's been through more abuse. But then the con to that for John Jones is, he hasn't been in camp. He hasn't been in fight shape. He hasn't been doing those things to get him.
Yeah.
So I can see both ways, the pros and cons for each guy fighting. My money would be on John Jones. Just going off the first fight, I think John's going to be healthier. He's going to be bigger. He's going to be in better shape. He does what DC does it better. He has better striking. So
that might be another good bet because I'm kind of leaning on
DC.
DC,
Ooh,
yeah.
I like it. No, I get it. I get it. Especially, that it's weird because if you take DC from his last fight with Anthony Johnson, I take Jones. If you take Jones off his last fight with OSP,
yeah.
I'll probably and DC shows in better shape. I take DC. Mm-hmm. So it's just who comes, ready to go, and those kind of X factors don't become such a huge issue or win that fight. I love that's in Anaheim, in our backyard, son. What else you got?
All right, this is a two-parter, sort of. So Charles Oliveira got suspended 60 days by the New York
Lame.
Right?
It's New York Athletic Commission.
New York State Athletic Commission for leaving the cage. I guess he ran out to hug his team and whatever.
Oh, how dare you.
And Patricio Pitbull just this past weekend, he jumped on the fence and he was fined money in Bellator.
Where was the Pitbulls at?
Damn, where was it at? Let's see.
He won the belt.
Oh, it's a Mohegan Tribe Department of Athletic.
Wow, look at Mohegan. Jeez, man.
So
Mohegan's son, that's casino. I'm a little surprised that. I can't imagine the fine's going to be too bad.
It's $2,500.
Not great, especially, he's not making a ton of money. So
but they've never really fined people for this, right?
I don't know what's going on. New York, they're so old school. You could probably get away with eye gouging and grabbing the nuts in New York. Like, yeah, that seems about right. They're just not hip to the times. God damn it.
Do they ever warn you when you were fighting to not, you get fined?
They do. Let me ask you this, though. How many times have you seen Anderson Silva jump on the cage?
I've never seen anyone get in trouble.
Fined?
Yeah. So
I jumped on the cage in Toronto. They told me not to. Jumped up there. It's the heat of the moment. You jump up there, have fun. How many times we got fined?
0.
So it's all just here. It's up to them.
It's kind of a bummer because it's cool for the fans to see the guys jump on the cage.
Hugging. You remember when Jose Aldo jumped out of the cage?
It made for an awesome ass
it was great.
build.
Remember when Conor McGregor, when he knocked out, I think it was Chad Mendes, jumped out of the cage?
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of then. Yeah,
remember that?
Awesome build up.
You know how much he was fined?
0.
And how many times the UFC used that for promotional use? Exactly. How many times the UFC used Anderson Silva jumping the cage for promotional use? How many times they use Roy Nelson rubbing his belly, jump on the cage?
I love that one.
Again, they should be paying these fines, not the fighter. It's good for the promotion. That's along with Bellator as well. The fighter should not be fined for celebrating in the heat of the moment. They're also not hurting anyone. They use it for promotional usage, ads, commercials. That shouldn't be on the fighter.
Oh, speaking of that, so Pitbull even says here, like, you should look at the Bellator Twitter, how many likes. We got thousands of likes. It's just promoting the show.
Love that. Yeah. The fighter shouldn't be paying those fines. That's ridiculous. The commission and the organizations are separate. So if they want to fine the fighters, they should fine the organization. Not the fighter, not the individual.
That's a tricky one though, right? Like I'm
Stupid,
guessing they should just say it. Maybe if something does happen, someone falls over and gets hurt, then we already warned you, so you can't sue us. That's or something.
Fine. Yeah, all right, because you already get and all right. Have the fighters when they're doing medicals sign something says, if I jump in the cage, slip, break my neck, can't fight, I will not sue. Cool.
Perfect.
You know how many fighters will not sign that? 0. They will all sign it. No one's worried. Listen, if you're athletic enough to knock a guy out and get a fight of the night bonus and jump on the cage, you're probably athletic enough to not break your neck and slip up there. You ever seen guys do flips off there?
All the time.
All the time. You know how many fines they got?
0.
So it's all subjective. Fuck you. New York. Don't even start on New York. What else you got?
All right. Next one is, I guess this is like Rumorville.
Rumorville. Gossip.
Cody Garbrandt, he was tweeting, like talking smack on TJ Dillashaw, that TJ Dillashaw was the one that had cheap shotted Chris Holdsworth and gave him the concussion that essentially ended his UFC career.
So Holdsworth is done.
Holdsworth, yeah. Well, he was doing really well too, right?
I remember that. He was like the next big thing out of Alpha.
And then all of a sudden, he said he was dealing with some concussion issues, and he never returned to the UFC. And then Cody Garbrandt's saying that it's because of T.J. Dillashaw hitting him during practice. But then Chris Holdsworth tweeted himself, and he included all of them as well, saying like, "No, he didn't end my career. You don't know what you're talking about." But he's answering to a fan that brought that up.
Yeah, but he's also tagged Cody in that too. Yeah. So let me see Cody's tweet up top there. Sure. So Cody put at Cody No Love. You call that a cheap shot? What about when TJ Dillashaw cheap shotted Holdsworth under your practice and in his career? ? At DwayneBang.com.
Oh, so he's responding.
Yeah.
Dwayne Ludwig.
So then a fan goes, calling TJ Dillashaw snake is just disrespectful to snakes. He's a dickhead. I hope Cody No Love ends his career like TJ did to Holdsworth. And then Chris Holdsworth goes, no one ended my career. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, just gossip. They hate each other. I can't wait for that fight.
But Chris and Garbrandt, they're like teammates, right?
Yeah, they're still teammates.
Buddies, so that's Team a little
Alpha
weird.
Now. What's Holdsworth do now?
He's one of the trainers. He's one of the one of the main trainers at Alpha Male now.
Nice, man. Yeah, it's just all gossip. I mean that, this story and the rivalry and how they hate each other. So it's gonna make this fight even funner. And they're on the Ultimate Fighter. I think he tried choking TJ in the first episode. So
yeah, I saw when he grabbed his neck.
I didn't see it, but
I know. Speaking of that, so according,
look at his face there choking him. Jesus Christ, man!
Do you think that was planned?
No,
really. He was just pissed off.
I didn't see it, but no, Cody's a hothead in
okay.
the best way possible, and TJ would never let someone choke him like that.
Yeah.
What's the news?
That was
here?
weird. Well, it's saying that the premiere of that season with them two is the lowest ratings ever.
Oh man, listen, I love the Ultimate Fighter. I haven't watched it I watched some of it when I had to do the Ultimate Fighter breakdowns, where the fuck it was called, on Fox Sports. I'd watch some of the episodes literally right before I went on air. It's tough to get into it now. I don't think this is a case of Fox Sports or the UFC on the decline. I think it's people are just over the Ultimate Fighter. It's 25 seasons. 25 seasons of basically the same shit.
Yeah.
Unless you're The Simpsons, that does not exist. People are just sick of it. You probably got to figure something else out. And with TJ and Cody, Garbrandt, and this matchup's amazing, and the hate and the and all the drama. Like this should have every formula to be a great show, but people are just over it, man. They just are, and these ratings, prove that. I don't think it would matter who the coaches are. I think if you had Conor and Floyd Mayweather, you'd get some bangers. But other than those two, pick any other matchup that you want in the UFC. Pick anyone. DC John Jones, low ratings. Name anyone. Name anyone you want, and you're not going to get great ratings. It has nothing to do with TJ or Cody. And also, I love that, it's giving guys who were on the show before another shot. It's not the kind of the same thing. You're getting guys that you should be familiar with. It drew 208,000 people. That's terrible. Terrible. It's a bummer, man. And also, the other thing to factor in is people see the lighter weights. They generally don't do huge ratings. Tough 24 had rough ratings, and that was Benavidez versus Henry Cejudo. And those were flyweights. The premiere clocked in at 370,000 viewers. God damn, they did worse than that. So I just think it's the show's ran its course. This is a guy who was on the show and I absolutely love the show. I don't keep up with it. This is my job to watch UFC fights and Bellator fights. I gotta kind of know my shit. I don't watch it. If there's some phenom on there, who's going to make a run in the UFC, I'll start tuning in and watch the highlights. But the drama and all that doesn't do it for me. They need to come up with some other competition show, or maybe spend that time and the money and the budget that you do for Ultimate Fighters getting terrible ratings, promoting your fighters that are currently in the UFC. Maybe do something with them.
Yeah, I mean, that show was in the beginning just to introduce people to the UFC, right? So people are introduced already. They know what the UFC is. Now kind of build it from that point.
Yeah, I just think the show's ran its course. Like I said, unless you're The Simpsons or Family Guy, you probably shouldn't have that many seasons. It just gets old. It just gets old. The demand's not there right now for this type of show. What else you got, brother?
All right. Did you know John Dodson was willing to take the fight against Tony Ferguson when Khabib dropped out?
Didn't make sense.
That's pretty dope.
John Dodson's one of the greatest guys in the sport, one of the best personalities. Probably the best, flyweight not named Demetrius Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I was like, I'm flying in Dana. I'm weighing 156 pounds. I'll make weight right now. Granted, I got called an idiot. Yeah, it's not. I mean, you just can't do that. That'd be terrible. You got anything else, brother?
Well, here's one quick one, since he's a alumni of the show as well. Elias Theodore is going to fight against Brad Tavares.
That's a great fight.
He was looking for something pretty big, right, to fight?
Yeah, he was looking to crack in the top 10, God, homeboy hasn't fought in a while, right? Brad Tavares hasn't fought in a while. Meanwhile, he's 2-3 in his last 5. He won a split division over Malinez. Prior to that, he was knocked out by Robert Whitaker. No shame in that. And then prior to that, he lost to Nate Marquardt. God. And then he also lost to Yoel Romero. So Brad Tavares has lost some monsters.
Yeah.
But he was the hotness for a second there.
Yep, so they're going to fight July 7th, Ultimate Fighter 25 finale.
God, it doesn't make much sense. I mean, it's a fun fight, but for Elias, it doesn't make a lot of sense at all. Career-wise, kind of just, it's another, hopefully another victory for him, but it does nothing for his career. It is what it is. If he wants to fight, that's, you got to take it. Is that it, brother?
That's it, man.
All right, man. Well, coming up next is Tony Jeffries, former professional boxer, you could say current bronze medalist in the Olympics for England. And he was on the national team. He was on the European team. He's a monster. He knows his boxing. And to kind of go over this mega fight that's the best heavyweight matchup in a long, long-ass time, I decided to bring Tony Jeffries, my good buddy, in, who knows boxing better than most people that I know. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. And when I say put your hands together, don't clap in your office right now. Maybe just I don't know. You know what? Do nothing. Just keep on listening. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Jeffries. All right. He's here live and in the flesh. Ladies and gentlemen, with his partner in crime as well, Tony Jeffries, bronze medalist in the 1976 Olympics. Is that right? Summer Olympics?
Mate. Yeah, right.
No, you're younger than me.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
You look older for sure, though.
No,
Let's be
definitely
real.
not. Definitely not. I'm excited to be here. I remember when you started this, was it like four years ago now?
Probably 4 years, yeah.
And we used to make fun out of Brian because what Brian used to do would stand up and talk for a living. You were fighting, training your arse off, and Brian would be there telling us what to do. And we're like, what the fuck does he know?
I know.
And now look at you.
I know.
Now you doing this for a living.
I know.
So now I'm like, look at this cunt here.
Remember when Brian would watch us train? So for those of you who don't know, I gave kind of a little talk before he came on, but Tony was my boxing coach when I was fighting in the UFC when I moved to Los Angeles. And Tom Watson, if you guys remember Tom Watson fighting in the UFC, is the one who connected us because I was making the trek fucking daily from LA to Orange County to train at Rain. And I was working with Justin Fortune at the time, who was strictly boxing, all power shots. And then Tom Watson was like, dude, I know a guy who, because I was always big on footwork. He's like, footwork is his thing. You need to get with him.
Yeah.
And I had to convince you to work with me.
Yeah, because I never really knew MMA until you come in. I didn't know who you were. You came in. You see it.
You kind of did.
I didn't. I remember.
Nah, you asked for a selfie.
I definitely never. Fuck. So I asked Lex Corley's, will you train me fight? And I went, how much? And he was like, oh, well, do the first session for free. I'm like, not really. I'm charging good money now. When you came in and I charge you next to nothing. But when you came in that first session, we hit it off.
I know. We were boys right away.
It wasn't just the boxing, the training side. You were very coachable. You were a good guy, you know, and we were personal. And
you were just starting boxing, Bryn, then too, right?
Yeah.
It was fairly new.
It was new. I think we had one boxing ring in there and the floors were shit. And you come in and, yeah, it was great. And I always said I would never, ever train a fighter until you come along.
Constantly try and convince you. I was like, come on, man. Come on. How about this? How about this?
And then you offered us that big bag of money. So I was like, all right, man.
All cash.
All cash.
All cash. And Tony, I would pick him up in my fucking Prius because we had to train in rain all the time in Orange County. I'd drive from Venice to Santa Monica, pick him up at the gym. Then we'd drive 2 hours of rain, train, stop at Bear Flag and eat typically, and then drive all the way back. So you're looking at like 4 hours of day of driving. In a Prius.
6 hours.
It was mad as well because the way you used to do it, I mean, it wasn't very professional, but that's all you could really do because you'd drive down to rain, we'd do a beast of a session down there with the spawn, with everyone, all that, and then we'd drive back, and then it was like, all right, we've got 45 minutes now at the running track. So your deal was like driving.
Terrible,
you know?
Man. I got no rest. My body was so bound up from sitting in that goddamn Prius. I would kick that thing.
And it was full of bottles as well. Remember that? It was full of bottles, full of food, and it was just minging. It was just a shit show, man. But that for me was a really good experience, and
because you didn't really know like mixed martial arts, right? Like you know boxing like a motherfucker. I don't want to get into that, but you didn't know the world, like the ins and outs of mixed martial arts.
I didn't until we started working together. And the reason why I didn't want to work with fighters because I'm obsessive. And that's why I think you wanted me to work with you because you knew I was.
Yep.
So when we were training for Mitrione, Orlovsky and the other guy, Travis Brown, I was obsessed watching their videos, reading the tweets, seeing who they were tweeting. I was getting obsessed with them and it was fucking doing me head in. So that's why I didn't want to work with a fighter. But, you know, I loved working with you and it was great. It was a great experience.
Yeah, we were boys, man. It was like a journey with us together.
Yeah, we went through a lot.
Went through some shit.
And I feel like that's why we've got a good connection now. When I've got the guys who's been in my corners in the past, you know, you've got this connection with them that I think it'll be there forever. I don't know if you feel that.
No, I agree 100%.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the most vulnerable you ever are when you're about to fight, you know, and you're in the changing room, the nerves are high.
But you understand it too because you were a fighter and you know what it's like.
Yeah.
It's always tough, man. Like coaches who never fought, you have that bond. But if you never fought, like be in that locker room and just, it's so fucking stressful. Yeah. And you go through this experience together. Even the guys you fight afterwards, you can look at each other and be like, I know what you went through. You know what I went through. There's this bond. Even people who hate me, maybe Trash Brown hates me, maybe Nogueira hates me, but we're still connected. Because we know what the fuck happened to get to that point.
And that's why I know I do and you do respect everyone that gets in the cage or the boxing ring because it's a beast. And then moments before you're getting in the ring, that feeling there, it's like unless you've been there and done it, you'll never know. Remember getting your hands wrapped? For me, that was the most nerve-wracking part when you're sitting there getting your hands wrapped because you can't move around and you're just sitting there focused.
You got to think about what the fuck you're about to do.
I know, which is crazy.
And how you don't want to do it.
And then, right. And that's what I said on the show that I did before. Like, one of the feelings is every time I was walking in the ring, it come to the back of my head, this is the last time I want to do this. Even though I've spoken to a lot of fighters who think this is the last time I want to do this. What the fuck am I doing this for? I'm crazy. Then that just goes out your head and your confidence there. You've done all the training, all the hard work, and you're ready to go.
But you were a guy who retired early. So let's go over your amateur career. You were boxing since what age?
10. Boxing since the age of 10.
So for sure FCT, brain trauma. But we'll get to that later. You got a melon on you, so maybe not. Maybe not.
But I was good.
Oh, you were really good. So you were boxing since you were 10. And then is there, because boxing in England's fucking huge. Yeah. So was there like some sort of developmental program or how'd that work out?
Well, boxing since I was 10. Then when you become a champion, which I was national champion at the age of 13, again at 14, again at 15, you get put on a training program. So when I was 16, I won the European Championships. I was champion in fucking Europe at 16. It was crazy feeling. Then I got put on the 8-year training program for the 2008 Olympics.
So someone came to you and was like, hey, since you're a national champion at 16, our goal for you is put you in this program in hopes that you become Olympic. boxer?
Yeah, well, so Audley Harrison, who you sparred with, was Olympic gold medalist in the...
and the biggest man of all time. And his dick's down to his ankles. I was worried about his right hand and his fat dick in my face.
like 6'7", southpaw.
So giant.
I was like, Brendan, I've got a sparring partner for you. All right, he's just...
I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
I thought it was a joke.
He walked in and Brendan was like...
Like, who the fuck is this? The nicest guy ever.
Yeah, so with him winning the gold medal in the 2000 Olympics, it brought a lot of funding to the Great Britain boxing team. And then they put together this world-class training program, and they got all the 16-year-olds because they said 23 and 24 is the peak age for an Olympian.
This is some Chinese shit. This is what the Chinese do at like 4 to the gymnast.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know it's true, but it worked. Now England's got the best... amateur boxing program, or one of the best amateur boxing programs
well,
in
it
the
makes
world.
sense. You guys are always fucking killing it.
Yeah.
We get the stars now, which we'll get into. So you get put into that program. How does life change? You get a stipend. Did you forget about school, everything else, and just that was your desire to be an Olympian?
Yeah, so it was in my last year of school, but all I was focused on wasn't so much the end goal, which was the Olympics, was the tournaments in between, because we flew around the world fighting champions of different countries. So we getting all this experience. That's why it's so good. Where the Americans, they stay in America and they fight each other. Where we were flying around, going to Russia, flying everywhere, fighting these beasts, champions.
Yeah, I feel like in Europe and Russia, like in Russia too, so all around, like even in Asia, the amateur, like they'll have, like Gennady had 300 fights before he turned pro. Lomachenko, people don't realize he's 330, and I think he was 396 and 1. This isn't a glitch or some shit in your headphones. 396 and 1.
Really?
So that's why they're like, oh, he's 7-1 as a pro. It's like, no, you silly bitch. He had 400 fights before then.
Yeah. Well, them countries, they have like, I think it's like Monday or Wednesdays, fight days. Fight every single week.
It's just in their blood.
Yeah. We never fought that much, but we had a lot of international experience. I think I fought over 65 champions in my career of different countries.
So you saw it all.
So I've seen it all. I fought just about everyone, and that gave me the experience to actually go to the Olympics.
So, but how did they so when you're in that program, obviously you have to win in that program to get elected to the national team? How's that work?
So the national championships, the senior ABA championships, you've got to be the number one in the country. I was number one in the country for 9 years in a row.
Fuck, son, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I would have listened to you more if I knew all this.
Since I was 14 until I went to the Olympics till I was 24. That's, I don't know how many years that is, but I was the national champion, the number one fighter in the country at my weight for that.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a long time. And then the 8-year training program.
But you're still amateur. You're making
still amateur.
No dollars.
Until Audley won the Olympics and we got funded. And then we were getting, it was like £500, which is about $750 every 3 months. So it's shit
going
money.
Sizzler. $750, you're balling.
Yeah, yo. I mean,
God,
when you walk from where I'm
terrible.
from, when you're from where I'm from, this is helping a lot. You
Really?
know?
That small money?
But I'm still at school. I'm 16. I'm still at school. That's great. And then local businesses give us little sponsorships here and there. So when I left school, I become a nightclub doorman working on the doors.
Standard.
Yeah. And that was getting me by. I started a catering trailer. I've always been a business mind.
Yeah, you're a businessman.
So I had a catering trailer flipping burgers outside the stadium, like the football ground in Sunderland. And then, the 8 years, I had so many ups and downs. You remember being a kid when a year was like a lifetime away, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So 8 years, you weren't even thinking about it. I was traveling around, doing all these fights, winning most of the tournaments I was in. And then to qualify for the Olympic Games in 2007, I had to go to the World Championships, which was in Chicago. And the way they do it, there's like 50 people in your weight that do a draw. Who you're going to fight if you win? You're going to
50 people in just your weight
I think
class.
it was 55 in this tournament. All the countries in the world, because this is an Olympic qualifier, so everyone's part of it.
Everyone wants to jump in.
So I got a terrible draw. I had the Netherlands guy the first, who was a beast, champion in the Netherlands. Then after that, I was fighting either the American team captain Christopher Downs or Ismail Slinka, the Ukrainian who won just about every tournament he was in.
Tough.
He was the favourite for the tournament. So I beat the Netherlands guy, then Ismail fought the American team captain. The American team captain beat him,
Damn.
boxed out his skin. So now I've got to fight the American team captain in Chicago
Enjoy those refs.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy the judges.
I'm walking out. There's a stadium of about 10,000 people. All I'm hearing is USA.
You're fucking
USA.
right. Yeah, welcome. You're fucking
like,
right,
shit.
Tony.
I'm right, but what did I do? I punched his fucking head in. How about that?
Did you knock him out?
No, I never. I beat him on points. It was funny because I was in the last round and I knew I was like 6 points up. So I just thought, all I've got to do is not get knocked out and I want to win the fight.
So you just did footwork?
So,
How many
footwork.
rounds is it?
Back then it was 4 2-minute rounds. So
it's a long time still.
It is. It's fast. It's fast, high pace.
High pace, and it's all about point scoring too, right?
Point scoring, hit and not be hit, which I love that, I love that style.
Yeah, your footwork was the best. In those amateur systems too, it's weird because some guys are phenomenal amateurs within the point scoring system, but they don't. It doesn't work in the pros.
Yeah.
'Cause you got to plant your feet and throw some power punches to win a fight in the pros.
Right.
So a lot of guys don't translate.
They don't, but now when we're going to talk about the Joshua fight later on, now what they've done in amateur boxing, they've changed it. Now it's not 4 2-minute rounds, now it's 3 3-minute rounds with no head guard. So,
no head guard, so more knockouts, right?
More knockouts, and you're getting that experience with no head guard, so you're getting...
you don't have the blinders on. Yeah, I hear you.
And more cuts. There's more cuts now.
So you win that, and then that qualified you for the Olympics?
So, and then I had to fight the Belarusian, who was a fucking beast as well. But I beat the Belarusian, and then I was qualified for Olympics, the last 8 in the world, and since then my life changed.
So that was the goal, right? Since you were a kid to get into this program, the whole goal was to win that fight. How much pressure was on you in that one fight? Because what people don't realize is 4 2-minute rounds. So basically, you have 8 minutes that's going to define everything you did till then.
Right. I know. It's crazy, mate.
How funny is that?
It is.
It's fucking nuts, man. And the pressure's insane.
The feeling.
And if you lost that, you're a complete failure.
Yeah. You're back to
Sunderland flipping burgers, son.
Exactly. You're like, have you wasted all this time? But no. So I qualified for Olympics. Life was changing.
How happy were you? Happiest feeling in your life?
It was the second best feeling in my life.
You're going to say kids are the first?
No, I'm a fuck. So this is what I want to say. So then I still fight, just about before the Olympics, I got a crack in my rib. I fought, I think it was a Russian who cracked my rib.
Fucking Russians.
Horrible, mate. So I couldn't really do much sparring before the Olympics. This is 5 weeks out. So imagine that. Imagine having a fight.
God.
You've trained for 8 years to get to this tournament, and then you get there and you can't prepare properly.
And before you go out there, God goes, hold on, I know it's a big day. Let me see that rib. All right, now try it.
I know.
So I want to make things as difficult as possible.
So now I've got that in the back of my head. So my first fight, I fight the Colombian Edison Alvarez, who's a undefeated pro now. He's fighting for a world title. I fight him, Pan American champion. He knocked the Cuban out. He was knocking everyone out. So I fought him. My first fight in the Olympics. I beat him. And I had to fight the Hungarian, who was a beast, for the Olympic medal. So this is the best part of my life. So I'm in the ring, and they tell you what the score is. So there's like 15.
They show you round after round.
Yeah,
right?
after each round.
Which is what every sport should do, but carry on.
Yeah. So I'm in the last round, and I'm 8 points up, right?
Killed it.
And I'm like, I go back the corner, you're 8 points up, Tony. All you've got to do is not get hit, move. So I'm like, all right, I know if I get through this, I've got an Olympic medal. So
guaranteed a medal. This is
guaranteed a medal. This
as long as whoever wins places.
Yeah. So there's like 10 seconds left in the fight, and I hear the crowd, all the Chinese in the crowd, chanting down 10, 9, 8. And I think, if this bell rings, I've got an Olympic medal. So I'm running like fuck. I'm running.
Like celebrating?
No, not celebrating. I'm shit. I'm moving. 3, 2, 1. The bell rings, mate. I dive around the ring. Now, that was the best one moment of my life.
We're not your kids, though. You don't want to just throw that in there. Like
No, not my kids. See, people tell you, I've got 2 little girls, people tell you that kids are the best thing in life.
That's not true. Well, no, I'm saying when they're born, that's not the best feeling. People are like, I'm telling you, your life will change forever.
Yeah.
When my son popped, I was all,
come on, now.
All right, let's go. Like, where's this magic fairy dust? I'm stressed out more than ever.
Yeah.
He looks like an alien. He's wet. I don't know what to do. Like, it's not my best.
Yeah. And I was talking to an Olympic medalist as well, William McCulloch, who trains with Brian, and he was telling me, Tony, when you have this kid, it's going to be the best feeling, better than winning the Olympic medal. So I was like, oh,
that's not true.
This was before.
No, ask me, Tony, that's not true.
And then when my first daughter came out, she had breathing problems and they were sticking shit down. Mate, it was one of the worst moments of my life.
One of the most terrifying moments. Yeah,
it is.
They put Mike in some weird incubator. He has fucking ink on his feet. They're sucking shit out of his nose. They put something in his asshole. I was like, God damn, this isn't fun at all. And my girl had a C-section. She's out of it, shaking and shit. It was a nightmare.
I'm right with both you on that. We had an emergency C-section.
It's a fucking nightmare. Best feeling all the time, my ass.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're guaranteed bronze in that. And from there, can you compete for the silver or gold? Or
yeah. So from there, I mean, I won the medal. That's my goal. I've got to fight fucking the Irish guy, Kenny Egan, who beat me in the past. Southpaw, horrible Southpaw.
I'm assuming you fought kind of, all you guys know of each other because you've been around the circuit, you're the same age, same weight class, so you guys have fought before.
Yeah, exactly. The guy I beat for the Olympic medal, I'd beat him twice before, so I was fighting him. But there was people on the team like Billy Joe Saunders, who's a world champion now, Bradley Saunders, who fought people had beat and they got beat.
Yeah.
Because they take the foot off the gas. You think, oh, I've beat him before, fuck, I'll beat him again. So that's one thing I didn't want to do. The feeling before the fight for the medal and the feeling before the fight for the medal was the most weirdest feeling. I can't describe it. I was nervous. I felt sick because you think you've trained for that long for this one moment, and it's like it's all down to it. It's like weird as fuck.
Did you almost get depressed?
Yeah, I felt down.
Yeah.
I was calling me mom. Mom, I don't know what.
I know. It's very weird. I feel like in those high pressure situations. I'm sure a psychologist can help us on this, especially a sports psychologist, but there's been times when I've been back, to be honest, even before big shows, like comedy shows, I'm back there, I get a little depressed.
Really?
Like there's so much pressure. I remember our last fight with Travis Brown, UFC 185. I wasn't excited to go out there, man.
Yeah.
I felt like, God, I need to call somebody and cry or some
Yeah.
shit. Or there would be sold out shows, and don't get me wrong, I fucking love my life. You cannot paint a better picture. But there's times where, I'm a little down. I don't know what it is.
Well, mate, that's a little bit different, standing on a stage talking to people compared to fighting for Olympic medal after 8 years training.
I hear you. It's different, but it's still performance anxiety.
No, it is. I don't know what it was, but it was a weird feeling.
Yeah, I know.
And
where you almost want to say, "Fuck this."
Fuck this. I'm not
There's a
doing
part
it
where
ever again.
you're not going to, but there's this weird kind of "fuck this" mentality. I don't know.
Yeah, and then after the Olympic Games, I come back with hundreds of people at the airport chanting my name. So I went from a guy flipping burgers on a burger van on a catering trailer to a local hero that named me. It wasn't mad, mate. It was a mad household name where I'm from. So that transition was crazy. It was fucking great.
So then you come back home, you're a hero, and then you have to turn pro. Like that's the next step.
Yeah.
So do you have promoters, managers like, come here, Tony, let's do this, man?
Yeah, it was great. But the thing that fucked me and all the other guys from the 2008 Olympics was the year when a couple of years before where the credit crunch hit. So people weren't buying tickets to go to watch
credit crunch?
The credit crunch.
The
What do you call it?
credit
The
crunch?
recession.
Oh, word. Yeah.
Yeah, the credit crunch,
Yeah.
we call it. So we weren't getting, I was expecting to get 250 grand signing on bonus for winning the bronze medal.
Is that what people were getting previously?
Yeah.
Or you've heard of that?
Yeah. So, I mean, Amir Khan was the Olympics before. He was young. He got like a $2 million sign-on fee for a silver medal. So we were expected, for a bronze medal, I was expecting at least 250 grand.
Yeah.
I ended up getting 40 grand sign-on bonus, which was shit. I mean, but like I said, I was working on a catering field, so 40 grand.
Still a lot of money.
I was rich.
So you so you got a $40,000 signing bonus, and then how long before your first pro fight?
And then I fought about 6 months after in February 2009.
Did that feel any different from the amateur stuff?
It did, because now I was under the spotlight in the amateurs for the Olympics, but before that I wasn't. But now, as a professional, I've got all this more pressure on us. I'm live on TV.
Oh, your first one's on TV?
Yeah, all my fights were on TV. All this expectations. We've got this Olympic medalist. He's going to be amazing and all that. So, and then I fought, and I was under the spotlight, which was great. I had 10 pro fights. I was undefeated in 10. I fought like 10, basically journeymen. Right,
but that's not a knock on you. That's how pro boxing goes.
Yeah.
Like you'll get anyone, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, any of these guys, Bernard Hopkins, their first 15, 20 fights aren't shit. It's literally just get used to the pro style, get warmed up. It's not a knock on you. MMA's a little different. If you have 10 cans first, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
No one entertains it. Boxing, that's what they do.
Yeah, they do. But I didn't give a shit. I was fighting these bums, like I don't like calling them bums, but I was fighting these low-level fighters. I've been used to fighting high-level fighters, and I was getting paid like 20 grand a fight, and it was like, wow, look at this. It was great. So I was making all this money. And then no one ever told you, and I know you've experienced this a bit, when you get in the spotlight, you're going to get criticised.
Oh yeah.
So the first time I got criticised, I got hit with a right hand in a fight, and that was it. The forums, everything. Tony's he's fucking shit. I got hit with a fight in a boxing match. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? And the criticism I got was horrible, mate.
Because they want to pull you down because you're the poster boy. You get all this positive accolations, and then boom,
right?
You like they're looking for any hole. That's human nature. Like if you look at an article and it says Tony Jeffries, boxing's next great white hope for the UK. And then there's one, Tony Jeffries hit with a right hand shows huge holes.
Right.
That huge hole article we get 3 times because people gravitate towards negativity.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the culture we live in. Your ass shouldn't have been on the forums, first of all.
You don't know that, man. No one's told you this. No one's told you not to read social media. Yeah. So now, and then what happened? This is how fucking crooked professional boxing is. It's horrible. Professional boxing is horrible, mate. So I'm training for a fight. This is my 8th pro fight, and I get injured in my arm. And I said, I'm not fighting. My promoter, come on, Tony, you're fighting in Sunderland. Where you're from? You need to make this fight. We've sold all these tickets. I went, no, I'm pulling out. It's like 5 weeks before the fight. He said,
5 weeks?
Yeah, 5 weeks before the fight. I said, I can't spar. This is going to be my first 8-round fight. I'm not doing it. I'm fighting a journeyman, but I'm not doing it. He said, oh, well, we've sold our tickets. Come on. He said, what if I knock it down to 6 rounds? I'm like, fuck. So all right, I'll fight, but I'm fighting 6 rounds.
Fuck,
so anyway, I don't do any sparring for the fight. Fast forward to the fight. The fight's happening, right? I'm exhausted because I've done no sparring. The 6th round goes, I give it everything. I walks to the referee from the put my hand up, and he went, whoa, we've got 2 rounds left.
Gotcha.
Mate, I went, what? Broke me heart. It fucking broke me heart. I sat down the corner. I was like, what? My coach was like, what? What's this? No. And I had to fight
your manager's like, eggs.
Yeah.
Man.
And now I had to fight another 2 rounds. And I got my head punched in off some journeyman for 2 rounds. It's like,
but you still won the fight?
No, I drew. It's like if you ran a 6-mile run, the last mile you put 100% in, you get the finish line. Come on, you've got 2 more miles.
Oh, this happens with fighters like with this happens in the UFC a lot of times where they think the fight's over and they stop and the ref goes, no, it's not over. You got to keep going. Like, what? And you see that guy just mentally check out and they get wrecked. There's just that you just switch off.
You mean
and you can never switch on in the middle of the fight. Once you switch off, you
can't get back on. Yeah, you mean when someone's been hurt and they think it's stopped.
That, or there's certain times like you look at Tim Kennedy against Yoel Romero where he thought it was over because he didn't answer the bell and then he was celebrating.
Yeah, I remember that.
No, go back and fight, and he's just not the same guy. Yeah. There's a lot of that, man. Yeah. It's the worst.
Well, you know, once the fight's over, and especially when you think you've won, it's like, yes, it's the best. And then to get you back in the zone,
can't do it.
Fucked.
Literally impossible.
That fight live on TV.
Here, jump here, Glenn. Get on here. Powerful Glenn Holmes, also from UK. Couple Brits, am I right? I'm half, guys. Yeah, I drink tea every night.
You're in the middle of English sandwich. How does that feel?
Pretty good,
You're the
man.
meat.
Just white as shit up in here. Thank God for Agent A and Chin. Mix it up. A little melting pot. Otherwise, it looks like a fucking weird KKK meeting.
Yeah, so I watched that fight live.
Bring that mic towards that mouth, son.
I was at my mum and dad's house back home for the holiday.
You watched Tony that draw against the Journeyman?
And I watched it live. I was like, oh, I'll watch these fights tonight. And it was like even the TV crew, the commentators, the whole setup, no one had any idea. Like, a 6-rounder.
Everyone thought 6-rounders?
Everyone.
It was fucked up.
What the fuck?
It was fucked up.
All the commentators were confused. Everyone was confused. Like, what's going on? And then it all the negativity, what you're talking about, came out on the TV broadcast.
And you were reading headlines and stuff.
Clearly, he hasn't trained.
He hasn't got the heart. He hasn't got the heart for it.
Even if it got switched on him in the ring, he should have been fit enough to do 8 rounds.
Yeah, they expect you to be Superman.
Yeah, so
did you started reading those headlines?
Yeah, I mean, and social media just blew up, and I got so much. Like, you're one of the Brendan. You're probably one of the best people I've ever seen who can take criticism because it just goes fucking straight over your head. But for me, I've got 1,000 people telling us I'm fucking shite, I'm crap, I'm not going to make it. You know, you kind of start believing it a little bit.
I know.
It does. Where, like
it's
I said,
tough, man.
You're a different animal like that.
Yeah.
Because the thing with you is why you're so successful at this and you were successful at fighting was because you believe you're the very best, and that's one thing about you.
Yeah, no
at everything, no matter what it is. You're the very best podcaster in the world. You're the very best fighter in the world. You beat anyone. You beat anyone.
Yep.
And that's the sort of mentality I believe you need to really have.
Yep.
Right. And when people used to criticize you on Twitter now and again, you just ignore it. You wouldn't even read it. It was if it never happened.
Unless it's from someone who knows what they're talking about, like a fellow fighter or like a legit coach. I mean, if you're in your mom's basement with Cheeto fingers, I don't give a fuck. And literally, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like people,
all
dude, you should do this on your podcast. I'm like, very cool. Start your own podcast. Let me know how that goes.
Right.
Let me just do it yourself, man.
Yeah.
Don't criticize me. You might as well start your own if you know what you're doing.
Right. But like, I think naturally you can do that. But someone like me who from the north of England who's never experienced anything like this, it's like, shit, this is a lot. It was hard.
No, it's a beast. If you're not ready for it, it's fucking heartbreaking.
heartbreaking.
How old were you then as well?
I was like 25, 26, and
Not young.
it's like Glenn's a trainer, he trains you, but and I said it before to Glenn, like if you're getting 1,000 people telling you you're a fucking shit trainer, I've seen you training, this is crap, even though you're one of the best trainers around, it's like, oh, shit,
It'll fuck with your psyche.
It does.
Like there's a quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, for the 49ers. He led him to the Super Bowl. Phenomenal player. You know what they said was one of his downfalls? He would get on Twitter after the games, and he'd make one mistake and then read all the negativity.
Right.
They literally, like, social media fucked his head up.
Yeah. And the thing
It happens to people, man.
The thing is,
Self-fulfilling prophecy, innit?
What people do, you might get 100 nice comments, but you get one negative one, and that's the fucking one that
Because we're attracted to negativity.
Yeah, like what you said.
Same thing, man. Like, we'll have a live show and one guy go, "Oh, you guys sucked." I'm like, "There's 3,000 happy comments." I'm like, "Did we suck?" And I go, "The guy wasn't even at the show." It's like that, damn it.
Yeah,
It's very strange, man.
it is. It's very strange, but I tell you what, though, Amir is tougher. Amir is a better person. Amir is a better human being.
Yeah, I think sometimes, social media, it's a great tool, but at the same time, too, you have morons with access, to make comments about the work you do and stuff like that. So you got to be careful with it, man. If you see a recurring theme where, Brian and I have an issue where we interrupt each other, won't listen, and you see it a lot, it's like, all right, we might need to work on it, but we're obviously doing something right. We just hit 10 million downloads,
Right,
so
yeah.
suck this dick, So you got to be careful with it, man.
Right.
You got to be super careful with
Yeah.
it. So then you have 10 pro fights. That's my
8th. I have 2 more fights after that.
You have 2 more. Did you know, spoiler alert, Tony retires early. Did you know when in your 8th fight, like you were close to the end of your road?
after that fight,
or did you think you were going to be like Evander Holyfield or Ricky Hatton or some shit?
Nah, after that fight, it broke me out. I was like, boxing's fucking horrible. It's horrible. I had 2 more
You
fights.
became jaded to the business?
I did, and but my hands were ruined. I was a heavy puncher since the age of like 15. I used to stop people all the time, and my hands couldn't take the punishment because in fighting, in boxing, your hands take the more punishment than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
everything.
so I had surgery on my right hand. I had a hole in the knuckle surgery on my left hand, a tear in my tendon, and I got to the point where I couldn't button my trousers. I couldn't wipe my arse, so I had to retire. So
How hard was that to retire?
it was the hardest thing I've ever done because I never had a plan B. Where, I mean, you come into the podcasting, you built this opportunity, you never knew it was going to be what it was going to be, or maybe you did because you're confident as fuck like that. But it was like, I've got no plan B. All I know is boxing. I've been boxing since the age of 10 years old. I never stuck in at school. I never done any exams or finished school. All I knew was boxing. That was it. So it was like, that's finished now. Now what? But I'm a smart businessman. Every time I had 2 fights, I bought a house. Now I've only got 10 pro fights. I've got 5 houses in
That's
England.
smart.
I got a mortgage, got tenants.
That's super smart.
Yeah, and now I've got a pension. That's my pension.
Yeah.
If I need it.
So when you retired, how hard was that to retire?
It was so hard. It was really hard to accept it. But my hands just weren't getting better. I tried everything to get them better. I tried. The last thing was PRP. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
But this time they took the bone marrow out of my hip. It was horrible.
That must have felt nice.
I was lying on the bed. He actually had a hammer, knocking the needle into my hip.
God damn.
And then they pulled the bone marrow out of my hip, and then they spin it around. They take, I think it's the white blood cells out.
Yeah, it separates them, right?
Yeah, and then they put it back in.
re-inject
And he
yeah.
said to me before he put it in my hands, he said, I can put a little bit anesthetic in before injecting it into your hands, but you're not going to get as much of the good stuff in there. So if you do it without anesthetic, it'll be better. So I'm like, go on then. So now I'm getting injections into my hands
That must have felt nice.
with no anesthetic. That just reminded us there about that one that you got.
Yeah, we'll get to that after this. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So
How
I got,
bad did that hurt?
I mean, it was horrible. It was so painful. But, and then, I was waiting for them to get better. Nothing happened. Tell you what though, mate, the best thing that's ever happened to me was getting my hands injured. So I had to retire.
It was
The
a
best
sign.
thing.
Otherwise, you kept doing it. And be
I would have
stuck
kept
in your
going,
ways.
get stuck in my nose, get stuck in my ways, even more punching than I am now, you know. So I wouldn't have the businesses that I've got now, 2 7-figure businesses, Box and Burn gyms. So yeah, I mean, it's been good that it's happened for us.
So you stopped fighting. You're like, I got to figure something out here. And then when did you decide to move to America?
Well, I moved to America when I was fighting. My last 3 pro fights, I went with Tommy Brooks. I was in training camp with Evander Holyfield, training alongside him. I have another story about that in a second as well. So it was great. I was training here, and then when my hands got injured, I come over here waiting for my hands to get better to start training again, to start fighting again. They never got better, so I settled over here. You know, but
so you were in LA waiting for your hands to get better. It didn't happen. So you're just like, all right, I'll
happen.
stay here.
But while it wasn't happening, I started getting the ball rolling in the fitness industry. You know, I went to a gym and I met my business partner Kevin there, and then we started our own thing. My hands never got better, got better, and now look what's happened. I mean, it's blew up.
Yeah, for you guys that don't know, Tony's the owner and Glenn's his head trainer there. So Tony was my trainer when I was fighting. Glenn's my trainer now that I just try to look good naked. But Tony's gym, Box and Burn, it's literally, and it got ranked. It's ranked, son. #1 gym in California.
Yeah, by Men's Fitness 2015. So
and if you're single, if you're single and you're anywhere in LA, you need to go to Box and Burn and buy whatever bullshit Lululemon kit you can get and fucking roll in there, man. Because it's some of the hottest girls ever just strolling around there.
And it's like,
Chin, you better pick up fucking Box and get sick. Dude, it's ridiculous.
It's like 75%.
My testosterone's jacked around there. I just hit mitts with a raging boner at Box and Burn. I get no chicks, but it's whatever, man.
Yeah, it's like 75% females, and
like dime pieces.
Love it. Yeah,
man.
Love
Celebrity. The other day I was working out and fucking Toby Maguire's like hitting the bag next to me or some shit.
Yeah.
So you have the trainer. You literally have the training facility where celebrities, hot chicks. It's the #1 gym in California.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Did you picture that or no?
I didn't picture it to be that big. Mickey Rourke was actually going to be an investor in it when we started down the boot camp, because we started doing a donation-only gym down the boot camp, and Mickey Rourke, the actor, his girlfriend used to train with us, and he said he'll invest $100,000 into the Box and Burn gym. So we're like, oh yes, we've got Mickey Rourke. He was away doing a movie somewhere, so when we found a location, I invested all my money from boxing into this location, expecting when Mickey Rourke comes back, I'm going to get $100,000 off him. He came back. We've been running for like 2 months. We broke even on the gym. And then he said, all right, before I give you the $100,000, I want this. Changed all our rules. We're like, fuck you.
Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
So that worked out for the best.
Worked out for the best as well.
I feel like he'd be a tough business partner.
Yeah, and it was funny because when
you seen him lately?
Yeah.
I saw him hitting the bag the other day, holding his chihuahua in tights, zebra tights.
What was Brian's review of him when Brian came on the podcast? He said something
Mickey
about
Rourke. Mickey Rourke's one of Brian's heroes. When he was an actor,
Brian loved him, didn't he?
Yeah,
he's
Brian
obsessed with him.
Yeah,
but he came out with the one-liner. It was his classic. I don't know what it was.
But if you bring up Mickey Rourke to Brian, it's like you just can't make. It's like he's the holy grail. Like Brian loves that guy.
Yeah,
because for actors, he's a beast.
Yeah, I mean, he was a beast. I don't know about right now. I don't think he's working
he did The
right
Wrestler
now.
a while ago. But
yeah, that was a good movie.
Whatever. I'm too young to fucking remember when I say it. I just know him now as batshit crazy Leatherface. But he also did Iron Man 3, where it's awesome. Right. He's kind of killing the game.
Yeah.
So Box and Burn's doing great, killing it.
Box and Burn's doing great, and then we've also got the Box and Burn Academy where we teach trainers. I know you've spoken about before how to teach boxing. That's killing it as well. You know, it's a personal training. It's a certification course. Because I mean, you've seen a lot. You've worked with lots of personal trainers, lots of trainers,
some of the best in the world.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've been. If you've not worked with them, you've seen some shit trainers holding the pads who've got no idea what to do.
Yeah, you have some in your facility. It's all good. No, I'm just kidding.
No, they don't work for us.
No, I'm just kidding.
So now what we do, we teach personal trainers how to hold the mitts properly. Basically, that's it.
Well, I think it's good just because a lot of trainers, they know they're good at their one thing, but so many people want that workout with mitts and stuff like that. So it's cool what you're doing.
Yeah, it's good, and that's something I'm very passionate about now.
And you're killing it, man. It's working out for you.
Killing it.
I want to go to. What was your first thoughts? Because I think I told this story on Rogan where when I fought Mitrione at 165, we were in the back celebrating, right? Injury free. It's a great night, and then John Jones had that epic fight with Gus Finn. And remember, we were training with Gus Finn for that fight. Remember Gus Finn? That. And then, which I have a funny story about that, but then remember they come into the back locker room we're at, wheeling John Jones through, and he's shaking. Remember he's shaking? And you just look at me and go, fuck this.
Yeah. Man, it was funny you should say that. I was talking about that the other day on our podcast about that and about I've never seen anyone look so close to death in my life.
Dude.
His lips were like the size of his face. His eyes were massive.
Can't see.
He was shaking. And you went to fist pump him. I think he managed to fist pump you.
I went like this. I went, I'm proud of you, champ.
And he was like shaking.
Oh, my God, dude.
It was horrible. It was horrible to see that.
Horrible, man.
But that just shows how much fighters go through, how big of a heart he's got to go through.
Just dehydration and beat up or what?
Beat up, mate. That was a beast.
It was a straight war, and like he won the fucking fight, and he was concussed. His body, I mean, he's the closest to death's doorstep I've ever seen anyone. You're talking about the greatest of all time. It just, fuck, man.
And that was the time that you got that injection, was it, in your upper lip?
No, that was my last fight against Brown. Where an uppercut or something that split my lip.
It was horrible.
I remember you told that
it's part of my
live.
bit. I tell a story now. It's part of my bit. But that doctor, my lips literally split, man. From the tip. I have a scar there now. That's why I always have a kind of a mustache. But if I shave, you can see this big scar, like jagged scar. And so my lip was split, and they had to take a needle and jam it into the inside of my cut, both sides, and inject numbness, and then stitch. I think it was like 12 stitches in the front, 12 stitches in the back. Meanwhile, Tony and Henner are just there with their cameras filming it.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it was so much pain. Like, I wasn't crying, but through the pain, my eyes were just watering up. Like, I wasn't like, oh, my God. I was like, oh, my God. And there's the sheer pain. I was sweating and the tears were
That's
rolling.
worse than taking the actual shot itself, isn't it?
It was fucking
even when you
miserable.
get cuts, I've had lots of cuts on my face, and they put the injection there. That kills.
It's kill.
But in the upper lip, where it's so sensitive, it goes to is just thinking
It's
about
fucking
it.
terrible.
The things that fighters do, well, that's behind the scenes as well, what people
Just
don't
keep
see.
going, man. Ugh, it was fucking rough. But even I saw this thing the other day. They're showing the average income of a UFC fighter if their main event or co-main event compared to boxing. It's insane. The boxing paydays are. I mean, it's not even close.
Who's better?
Boxing? They're not even the same
Really?
ballpark as far as main event, co-main event.
Oh, right.
Which I'm kind of surprised by, just because I guess if you take one main event, let's say you take out Floyd Mayweather, but you have Canelo or any of these guys, they're getting paid millions upon millions. So maybe that's why it's such a strange.
Yeah, I
drastic
think from
change.
the normal main event to in boxing to like the Canelos and the Mayweathers, it's like night and day.
A huge jump.
Yeah, huge jump.
I think with boxing, it's the main eventers that are making way more than the people on
Right,
the undercard.
yeah.
Where I
That's what
think
it
in
was
UFC,
showing.
it's probably more
As
spread out a
overall.
little bit.
What was
Can you see any? Do you see any facts, Chin? Like, do average pay for boxing, average pay for
What was
MMA?
that you were telling me before? Didn't you commentate on a fight, or were you somewhere and the guy got next to nothing?
Oh, I was the in-ring announcer for CBS. It was Shane Mosley's last fight, and they had some dude on there. I think he's this Mexican dude. He's a roofer in Mexico. Flew there. I think he's making $750, and I'm talking. This motherfucker was literally just stood his ground. Was getting knocked.
The guy who fought Mosley.
No.
he was on the
That was a
undercard.
better fight, but
Right.
it was just like he just bit down his mouthpiece, not much technique, and just was getting like he was like those fucking you see those big ass like things at sports car dealers like this. He was like that, just back and
What
forth.
about that? I think he was a Lithuanian or someone who fought in the UFC that time when we were there, and his coach missed the flight. His trainer, I can't remember, his trainer missed the flight. So this fucker was getting, I think it was $2,500 to fight and $2,500 if he wins.
Yeah.
And then his trainer missed the flight, so he had to pay like $3,000 for that, and then he paid for his other trainers. Then he lost his fight.
I know.
It cost him about
Cost him money.
$5,000 to fight and get beat.
I know.
No,
Is this it, Chin?
This is the one I found. It says that the mean pay for boxers compared to MMA fighters is almost 2 times different.
wow.
So for mixed martial arts, the combined total of 826 purses was basically average of 21. Let's round off. So you have 22,000. The mean average MMA fighters were even lower than that of boxers. So just the average was 1,250.
1,250 to 2,500.
So when looking specifically at only UFC fighters, the average was much higher, with the mean being $63,000, and the median $28,000.
Well, yeah, the average UFC fight gets 63 grand.
Is that what that's saying,
Nah,
Chin?
that can't be right.
I think that's right.
Can't be right. Nah, you think? Because
Yeah.
there's more low-level fighters on a UFC card than there is at the high-level fighters, right?
But the average, I
Oh,
think,
so the average
across
the average
card.
across the board, because
Right.
now I think they start at 8-8 or 10-10.
Yeah, and to a UFC fighter or someone who's looking to get in the UFC, that's very attractive to them.
60 grand.
Yeah, but little do they know.
You can go to Starbucks and get benefits and everything. Make my goddamn
No, but little do they
espresso.
know. Like, what's that there? $1,200 a fight, right?
That's boxing.
Oh, that's
there.
boxing. Shit.
Total payout $46,050. Boxing's tough, man, because that's a fight night.
Yeah, you want to pick a different career if you're looking to get into this shit. You know.
I
I'll
feel
look through it.
I feel like that's with anything though. Like it's not a knock, but if you're a kid or whatever the fuck you're, if you're a 20-year-old and you go, man, I want to make bank.
Right.
You're not going to be, then boxing's not for you or MMA's not for you, because
No.
the chances of you being a Conor McGregor or Brock Lesnar are not good, man.
Right.
They're just not it's a 1 in a million. Same with acting. Less than 1% of actors. Like you see Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, and you're like, oh, I want to be an actor. I want
Right.
to do that. You talk to any actors, like, dude, you know how fucking hard it is to be a movie star?
Right.
There's a big difference between being a movie star and a working actor.
You know the
huge difference.
You know the Shermanator off American Pie.
Yeah.
The Shermanator.
Yeah.
He works in Sushi Ruka down Santa Monica. He's a barman down there, and it's like,
You're talking about Stifler?
no, the Shermanator.
Oh, the redhead.
Yeah,
He's like
yeah.
a Shermanator.
Yeah, that
guy.
In
When-
effect.
when it-
Well, that makes sense.
When anyone goes in there, they all get pictures of him and stuff.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
his job now.
That's his job. He's a barman.
But he wasn't like, you wouldn't look at him and be like, oh, that's the next movie star. So
No, you wouldn't, but you would think from the outside looking in, the fucking Shermanator. Everyone knows who the Shermanator is.
you know who he is from American Pie, but I'm like, Shermanator, that guy probably drives a Lamborghini.
Yeah, because
Well, that's because I know the business.
You know the
I hear
business,
you.
but if you don't know the business, like, you must have made $1 million, or well, you must have made a shit ton of money off them movies because he was a big star. Now he's fucking serving our drinks in the Sushi Robo.
Fuck, man.
It's good for tourists.
Hey, Shermanator, get a fuck. Let's go here. Andale, Shermanator. What's this say, Chin? But with those guys, there was... Oh, man, I won't say his name. There's this UFC fighter I was talking to. He's retired. Dude, he needed to figure something out before he got this other gig. And he was like, dude, I applied at Subway. And I was broken hearted. You guys would know this guy. I was broken hearted, man. I'm like, you're about to make footlong, son? You're about to make my meatball
He's
sub?
a sandwich artist. That's what they call him, right?
Oh, I'm a sandwich artist.
China-
Bitch,
China
make Subways. Sandwich artist.
That's what they call it.
It's true. Nah, man, you make sandwiches. Let's not get crazy.
Yeah, you see boxers who the train all life, like myself. I trained from the age of 10 years old. I retired when I was 27. All I know is boxing, and you see most boxers who do the same sort of shit, but they don't make any money from it, or they're not smart businessmen. Then they'll go and work on a building site, or they'll work in a fucking card centre, or they'll work at Subway. It's like crazy. Their education is not school. Their education is boxing. So why don't they try and make money doing what they do best?
Well, because a lot of them don't have the social skills or anything like that.
That's right.
Like those that can't teach is what the famous saying, right? Also, and I've said this before, and some people get upset, and this isn't a knock on you, you're the exception, but boxers in general are the stupidest people I know of all the athletes. Because they don't make, because UFC is so, it's a newer sport, so a lot of us had other careers. And you went to college, you had a career in this, you have other skills. Boxers, it's such
from
an
the
old school.
streets.
Yeah.
It's a poor man's sport. They don't have education. There's no big boxing college program in America where you're going to get an education in box. So when I talk to boxers, I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, no,
I feel stupider now.
I agree. And I've got so many friends who've now retired from boxing who had a great career or a good career. They've never invested the money wisely, and now they're doing nothing. Now they're basically doing nothing. There's the tiny 1% that might get a job on TV doing the commentating.
God, that's a tough gig.
Yeah,
like the chance of getting that are
it's
not good.
It's so hard to get that. I know some really high level fighters who should be doing that.
There's
who's
like
not
8
doing that.
openings.
Yeah.
There's literally like 8 openings. Like, so Tony Romo, who's a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, they're like, man, is he going to play? What's he going to do? And then he got offered from CBS to be the lead commentator for football, the NFL.
Right.
And he jumped at it. And then when you think about it, it's like the chances of getting a chance to do that, and you look at all the kind of factors that go into that. You have Phillip Rivers, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Once those guys retire, they're going to want to do the same thing. If you just get it now, Fuck playing another year or two of football. That's you got the next 20 years set, making 7 figures.
Yeah, and that's, I've told you before, like that's why I know as a fighter, like I'm proud of what you've done, not blowing smoke with your eyes, Brendan, but like you've seen it with the top footballers who's had more fame than you when you did from fighting, or even fighters that's done better than you in fighting.
For sure,
they've come out and they've not done nothing. But where you now you're got a 7-figure business, you've got your head screwed on, you're fucking killing it.
Yeah.
That's why I think what you've done is absolutely amazing, mate. I am, and to see you start this off from the beginning to where you are now. I mean, you've done really well.
I wish I could say it was planned. It was kind of just like, I mean, God was literally like, "Hey, dumbass, you're never gonna beat Cain Velasquez. Come over here. Like, you focus on this."
But the thing is, before you retired, you thought you were going to be Cain Velasquez. You were that
100%.
like I said before, you're that
100%.
confident.
Yeah.
You were better than any of these guys. That's what you thought in your head.
I think there's a skill in itself to realize what your true talent is and what your passion is as well. And when you kind of mix the two, that you clearly realize you had a talent for talking and podcasting and
I've always loved
being funny and stuff.
Yeah,
and then recognizing that you had a talent for it, and then just running with it. Most people don't really figure out that they're good at something.
I feel like most people are too scared, like, because obviously society's gonna label you as a boxer, as a UFC fighter, as this, and like, I should probably just stay in my lane.
Right.
Like, that's what society wants from me, because all they associate with only being one thing. They can't do multiple things, so they lump you into that box.
Yeah, I think fear is the biggest preventer of success.
100%.
Because as well, people are afraid to what other people will say.
Yep.
You know, like, you're starting a podcast. What, you're a fucking fighter? What are you talking about? You know, and you've done it. You're a great storyteller, and I think that's one of the reasons why you're so successful. You've got Brian with you, who's a funny bastard. You're a great storyteller. You're a funny bastard.
Yep.
And I mean, I was watching your last show. What was it? The fight with the kid one?
Last night, come back from Austin. Yeah, we were.
I was in bed shaking, laughing. I woke my wife up. I was laughing and on
weird.
at some of the shit you were saying. I mean, you're killing it, and I think it's fantastic.
It's ridiculous. Well, should we break down this? What do you got, Jen? Did you find it?
Yeah, in those 3 states, Nevada, Florida, and California, the mean average for the boxer, how much they make, is $3,250.
Not a lot.
The mean average for a regular MMA fighter is $1,250. Right, so $1,250, but the average.
That's not UFC. That's
the
like
mean average,
anything.
Yeah, the mean average for UFC is $2,500, but it's still less than boxing.
Wow.
So let's talk about the boxing. So it's $3,250 for a boxer's average purse. Let's say that's what you're getting. Now, to fight, you've got to do an 8-week training camp, right?
And you got a manager you got to pay 10% to.
You manage 10%. Your trainer is normally in boxing's 10% as well. So there you've lost 20% of that. I don't know what that is, like $650, 20% of that, something like that. And
you got taxes.
Taxes, yeah, forgot about that. Then you've got, I mean, if you're getting $3,200, you're gonna come out with maybe $1,000 for 8 weeks worth.
Yeah, again, like, you know, it's if you're signing up for these things to make a fucking to retire off it, your chances are not good.
They're
man.
very slim. But
that's with any job. I feel, obviously I knock payment on fighters, and of course they deserve more because you're risking your health and stuff when you enter the octagon or the ring or whatever the fuck it is. But with acting too, less than 1% make a living doing it. That's what you sign up for, man. Like that's the dance.
It is, and it's
don't get mad if you're doing salsa and you start sweating. Like that's the fucking dance.
And
man.
one of the things that I hate about the UFC is the way they do it. I mean, the experience I had, I was with you for your last 3 fights, so I was there right inside of it, and I've seen how it goes on. And I don't know how much you picked this up. I don't think we've spoken about this before. Is like 4 days before the fight or 3 days before the fight, all the fighters get in a room, and then I think it's Dana White or the other guy. What's the black guy called?
He's gone now, but Burt Watson. Who they fired, yeah.
They get everyone in and they say to everyone, listen, don't let the fight go the distance. Don't let the fight go the distance. We want these fights to be finished. Don't let the judges decide. That's
it's like a pep talk.
And it's shit. And then before the win, the same. Don't let the fights go the distance. I think it's like 3 times. Dana White comes in, guys, don't let the fight go the distance. So now you've got guys from, let's say, Lithuania or Russia who's coming here, and all they hear is, I've got to knock this guy out for my chance to be on the big lights. So now if you've got the pressure on you of knocking someone out, you're not going to perform right?
Yeah, it's not, and again, those are people who've never fought, thinking that's going to actually help the fighters.
Right. Yeah.
Because they were going, don't leave it to the judges. They're going to fuck you. And remember, this is a huge card, man. So we need to perform. We need you guys to go out there on your shields. Those guys who got on the shields and don't play it safe, we take care of, which isn't true.
Yeah. And I really dislike that. And as well, like with your style, our game plans was like hit and not be hit, move your feet.
Yeah,
if you counter punching, great, counter punch. Doesn't matter if you knock them out in one round or if you win on points.
Yeah.
Winning's winning.
Yep.
But whether UFC, they think differently that. It's all about the knockout. It's all about the performance.
We witnessed that at the card in Vegas on the Wonderboy fight. The whole arena was just booing the shit out of the fight.
Well, because they've created a standard. If you're not going in there and fighting to rip the guy's head off, the crowd, they're conditioned to what the UFC puts out there. Highlights of guys getting knocked out in 30 seconds and finishes it early in the first round and going out there, who cares about technique? And like that's what they promote. So the fans go, well, that's what we should expect.
Right. Yeah. And the business side of it, you can kind of see why they're doing it.
I get it.
But I'm all on the fighters side.
Yeah, me too.
And I love the fighters, and I realize how hard they work and what they've put in and what they're sacrificing to be there. So that's why I hate it, and I'm not a fan of Dana White at all because of the way that shit happens.
I just don't think anyone should ever boo any fighter in any and during the fight, especially like when you see a fighter being defensive or you see a fighter trying to move, or there's a lot of standoff action or that, and you just hear people booing. I'm just like,
it's because the common
you don't have a clue what you're
let's
talking.
Go, man.
Yeah, they
like
just want that, they're just bloodthirsty and they just want that entertainment.
So when we were in Vegas and we were, I was on the outside. The only times I've been to UFC fights was your 3 fights, and I was
you're in the corner, so you're not in the crowd.
I had the best seats in the house, but now I'm in the crowd, and I remember I texted you and I was like, I cannot believe this. Who was it who got knocked spot out? Who was out for a while on that Windy card? Someone.
What fight was that? It was Woodley Thompson too.
Yeah. What was he asking?
Who got knocked out really bad on that card?
Someone got knocked out bad. Anyway,
I can't remember that card.
It was
Mark Hunt over.
Yeah,
he knocked him out with a knee, flatlined him.
And I was like, and I got a shock, and I was like, fuck. The first thing, and the guys in front who had it's funny you say about Cheetos. They had Cheetos, they had popcorn. Yeah. And Mark Hunt was on the floor, damaged.
Legend, out cold.
Out on his face, and all these people just, diving around and drinking the beers, and it's just like, and I kind of get it. It's entertainment, but I've been on the other side, and it's real life.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it?
It's hard, and I hated to see that.
I know.
I really did. I was passionate about that, and I fucking hated to see it.
It's the worst, man. It's the worst, because then you go in the locker room, and it's just for a guy like Mark Hunt too. But the fans, they have no personal connection. The fighter, they look at you like action figures.
Right.
Bring in the next.
Yeah,
it's like fuck, man. That's a real human, man.
Yeah.
And you don't realize the damage that you're doing to your brain. And I think I told you before when I was doing on my podcast, I was talking about how many times I've been punched in the head. And I had 106 fights in my career, so I'd done the maths.
Amateur and pro, you've had 106?
Amateur and pro. I'd done the maths. So for each one of these fights, if I'd sparred 10 times, each sparring session was 6 rounds. And each one of them sparring sessions, I got hit in the head 7 times. Anyway, I'd done the fucking maths. And it worked out that I've been punched in the head, give or take, around 55,000 times.
It's a lot of times.
It's a lot of times. And I remember I'd done that and I worked out and I was like, shit. And that's when I started thinking, maybe I'm a little bit punchy. I walked out and there was a guy there, I'm not going to name his name, but he was a former world champion, was in the gym. And I said to him, I went, mate, I've just done the maths. I've been punched in the head over 55,000 times. And he was like, shit. He said, I had 250 fights. Imagine how many times I've been punched in the head. And he'd been in wars.
Yeah, I know.
And I went, wow. And I went, do you think it's affected you? He went, nah, it's made me smarter. I was like, fucking hell.
I would say it made you smart. Come here, look at me. That means you have CTE.
Yeah.
If you think that made you smarter, that's the goddamn problem.
That's it. And now, if it has affected me, I'm very happy that I'm in the position now to realise that it has affected us. And I went for them brain tests in Vegas.
Oh, you did do the brain trauma test?
Yeah, it was Audley Harrison, talk about him again, the Olympic champ. He was telling me, go and do these tests it's called the Cleveland Clinic in Vegas. It's the best facility in the world.
Do you have to pay for it?
No, it was all free. They flew me there.
Damn, I wouldn't mind doing it.
You should. They'll
Can
fly
they come
there.
to my house?
They'll come here and do it here.
Did you ever think about that stuff while you were fighting, though?
No,
I don't think you can afford to, can you?
You can't, otherwise you fight too safe.
Yeah, well, why?
I used to do some stupid shit sparring. Like me and Shane Carwin, one of the hardest punchers of all time to ever grace the octagon. Me and him would just stand flat-footed and just punch each other. Because we were one to, I don't know, just be meatheads.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you don't realise now I'm the opposite. Now I was loosening the speed ball in the gym, and the speed bag, and it fucking fell on my head, and it hurt. I was like, shit, and things like that does me head in. And like you said, when you're fighting, you don't really realize it. You were doing that with Shane Carwin.
You just go.
It's
just like whatever.
It's
you
like
don't think about.
I remember having my hand down, letting someone punch in the face. Like, come on, then. That's all you got.
I know.
And you're not bothered.
It's like the bravado of it, innit? I mean,
Right.
Like, when with a rad spar, it's like see stars or something, and get a bit buzzed. Like,
that's what you sign
all
up
right,
for.
yeah, I'm like, all right, let's
do
go.
it, man.
Yeah,
It's
Let's
fucking
do it.
weird.
So yeah, now I realise the damages that boxing can do to you, and now that's why I'm so happy to be out, and now I've got these businesses
smart,
that's doing well.
You're smart, brother. You're killing it too, man. Both of you guys are. Should we break down this Anthony Joshua Klitschko fight right quick?
Yeah. So the guy who don't put the program together for the Olympics for me, the 8-year training program, that program is still going on. It's funny. Let's talk about Anthony Joshua. So when I turned professional in 2009, he was nowhere to be seen. No one heard of him.
Seen or anything.
He was fighting club shows. From 2009 till 2012, he won a fucking Olympic gold medal at heavyweight. That's how fast he progressed. And now look at him.
Because he's a freak athlete. If you look at the guy, he's a legit freak. And the heavyweight division needs this guy so bad. What's weird, like in the States, if I mention Anthony Joshua, people are like, who?
Right.
But anywhere in Europe, in England especially, he has 2.2 million
superstar.
followers.
Wow.
He sold out Wembley Stadium in 2 hours, 90,000 people.
Yeah.
90,000.
It's going to be
2
the
hours.
biggest heavyweight British heavyweight fight of all time.
biggest British fight of all time.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And you know how big boxing is in Britain.
It's
This is the
huge.
biggest one of all
It's
time.
weird. It's not a big deal over here. Like I advertise it, I've tried to promote it on social media. It barely gets any clicks.
You say that, but it's only the third fight ever to be broadcast on Showtime and on HBO.
True. I think
So
because
I
they're
think-
trying to appeal
I think-
to the international market,
Right, I think-
or hopefully here. Because if Joshua does win this fight, he'll be by far the most famous. He still is right now, but he'd be by far the most famous heavyweight walking the streets.
Oh yeah. I think he is now as well. And he's very marketable. He's a nice guy. He's humble.
Fucking
He's got his head on
good-looking
his
dude
shoulders.
too.
He is
Dime piece too.
in shape. Yeah, he's like 6'6".
Knockout artist, 18-0, 18 knockouts.
Yeah.
Never been past the 7th round. Most guys only last 4. He really hasn't beat anyone that good. Brazil's probably the best one.
Well,
or
the
Molina.
guy who he won his title off, Charles Martin. Did you spar with him, or we were setting the sparring up, but something happened?
Oh no, we sparred with Charles Martin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did. Yeah, well, that's who he won his heavyweight title off. And I mean,
Do we want to backtrack and talk about how Charles Martin won the title? Though?
yeah, and
He's
then-
a guy rolled his ankle.
you seen that, right? Yeah, so the guy rolled his
So
ankle.
Charles Martin, Charles Martin won his title by he's fighting, I think, a Russian cat,
Yeah.
or Ukrainian cat,
Yeah.
and he rolled his ankle, so he won by default. Then he gets fucking Anthony Joshua for the IBF title.
Yeah.
And Joshua, I think he flinched at him and he fell down and won the title. Like it wasn't like a very competitive.
I was at
fight.
that fight.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't
it was a
great.
shit show.
And then he fought Brazil, who probably the toughest fight that he had.
Well,
but he stopped him in 7.
Dominic Brazil, he's a friend of mine, and where he came from, when I moved to America, they were doing a program here where they were trying to get. I don't know if I told you about this. It was a guy called Michael King, who was a gazillionaire. He was trying to put money into former athletes, basketballers, American footballers, and try and find the next heavyweight champion.
Brazil was a quarterback at University of
Exactly.
Northern Colorado.
He never started boxing until he was like, I don't know, like in his late 20s.
Shit, did well.
So I mean, he's got a good record there, and he's a decent fighter.
He was an Olympian too, right?
He went to the Olympics. He lost his first fight in the
did well,
Olympics.
though. For starting so late.
Yeah, he's done well, and he's still fighting now. But I mean, if you look at his record here, but the thing is, he's done you kind of give him shit about his record because look at that, he's knocked everyone out that's been.
He's knocked everyone out. The thing that scares me, and obviously not for this fight, but he's never fought outside the UK. That's a little scary.
Yeah.
So like if he fights, well, he's the draw. I'm gonna say I don't want you to put the carrot in front of the horse's mouth before, but if he beats Klitschko, he's gonna have to fight Deontay Wilder. Like that's the next big fight.
Yeah.
But he's such a bigger draw. Deontay Wilder's not a big draw
No,
here at all.
no.
Granted, he's the champion, but he's the Alabama kid. There's no way Anthony Joshua's like, yeah, let me go to Alabama, sell out 12,000 tickets. Fuck
They'd
yeah.
probably do that in Vegas, I think.
No,
See, I think they're doing the UK.
Really?
Yeah,
Because he's such a bigger draw. There's so much more
90,000.
money. 90,000.
Do you think Wilder would go over there for that?
has to.
Yeah, he will have to.
He would have to.
That's a huge fight. I mean,
So both you guys know boxing. How do you see?
so it was funny.
You want me to go first for the boxing experts break it down? Before you guys break it down?
Go on.
This is what I think. I think, Klitschko hasn't fought in a while. His last fight, he is 30. What is he, 38? Is he 38?
He's going to be 41 when he fights.
He's over 40 now.
God damn.
now.
So he's 41. Age kind of, the fucking grandfather of time kind of creeped up on him. But I think his last fight was a combination of both. I think, A, he's older, but B, Tyson Fury's just this weird, awkward, huge dude. And Klitschko's used to fighting traditional boxers. So with Tyson Fury, he couldn't get his timing down. He never got comfortable. He never let his right hand go. They say his right hand was injured. And he also didn't get up for the fight. If you listen to his brother's like, anytime my little brother gets up for a fight or he's focused, he wins.
Right.
Now, Tyson Fury, we didn't take him serious. And you saw the fight. It was a shit show of a fight. I just think I chalked up to Tyson Fury being awkward as fuck, and the whole fight being kind of a shit show. No one really won, and obviously Tyson Fury's been silent or kind of MIA since, being mentally undeclared to fight and all that shit. So I think Father Time did catch up with Klitschko finally. And if you look at the history books, I've been going back and forth. I'm like, God, I can see Klitschko win. God, I can see Joshua win. I go back and forth, but with Klitschko, in the history books, a guy of his age, once he loses that title, it never really works out for him. It really doesn't. It worked out for George Foreman, worked out for a couple other guys, Evander Holyfield against Ruiz, but in general, it really doesn't work out. So just by going through history and what Anthony Joshua does, stylistically, it's great for Klitschko because Anthony Joshua doesn't really do anything unconventional. He has good movement. He's explosive, but he's a traditional boxer. His head movement isn't great, which is a little scary against a guy like Klitschko. But just, I think, and the other knock on Joshua is he's never gone past 7 rounds.
Right.
Klitschko, Klitschko's has more title fights than Joshua had as far as wins and knockouts. So all that, and it literally, I go back and forth. Back and forth.
So who are you picking?
I got Joshua.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to bet against him. So Klitschko has had 68 professional fights. He's boxed 358 rounds in his professional career.
How much is that?
That's crazy. Nuts. Do you know how many rounds? So 358 rounds. Do you know how many rounds Joshua's done?
He's at 18, and then how many? 60 rounds total, maybe?
44 rounds.
Yeah, not many.
44 rounds. That experience is massive. Klitschko beat Pulev, you see there? And in Klitschko's last 23 fights, I was looking last night, he's boxed 11 of them who've been undefeated. So he's used to fighting undefeated fighters. And Pulev was an absolute beast, and he knocked him out.
He's a far cry from Anthony Joshua, though.
Yeah, I mean, he is
athletically and power wise.
But this is the biggest downfall for Klitschko. He's been out the ring for I think 17 months now, and since he started boxing when he was a 10-year-old kid, I'm sure that this is the longest he's had off without not fighting. So I believe in ring rust, and I believe that's going to show. But even if you look at Klitschko's last fight against Fury, it was terrible,
awful.
He threw about 5 right hands.
This is all about distant management because if Klitschko can stay in that distant and get his jab and that epic left hook off, it's going to be a good night for him. I see Anthony Joshua kind of bullying him.
Right. And Joshua's got a much bigger variety of punches than Klitschko. Klitschko is pretty predictable where he's 1-2 grab or 1-2 hook.
Klitschko only gets off if he feels comfortable with releasing that right hand. He's super reserved. He's a crazy cerebral fighter, and he doesn't risk a lot. I just feel like over time, Joshua's going to land one of those big bombs and put him away.
And Joshua,
it's what's best for boxing. I'm always what's best for boxing. Yeah. Klitschko's had his run. He's fucking brilliant. But Anthony Joshua, he looks good, speaks well. He's a knockout artist. He's undefeated. If you beat the legend, we got a superstar.
It's great. I don't know when the last time, or if ever, there's been 2 heavyweight Olympic champions fight each other. Because Klitschko won the Olympics, I think, in '96, and obviously Joshua won it in 2012.
Yeah, not 2 gold medals.
Who would you, Brendan, see the pressures on this fight?
Anthony Joshua.
Why?
Because he's 18-0. He's the next big thing. It's in his home crowd, 90,000 sold out. He's literally the guy who's supposed to save boxing. Yeah. You got Klitschko. if he retires right now, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He loses this one. It's like, all right, you lost the young guy. Yeah, your time is done.
Right, yeah.
You're still jagillionaire, fucking, you're killing the game. So I just feel like all the pressure's on Joshua because, he's the favorite too, slightly favorite. He's kind of the golden boy right now. Yeah. You got to beat Klitschko.
Most heavyweights lose, most in boxing over the time. And I think for Klitschko, if he loses this, now he's retired. It's game over. He can't do anything after this. So, and I've been watching the interviews, and Klitschko said he's never, obviously they always say this, never trained so hard, but now it's the first time that he's been the challenger in over a century.
See, and that's what scares me a little bit about picking Joshua. His older brother goes, you watch, man, anytime my brother's had his back against the wall and he gets serious for a fight, he never loses.
Right.
I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
So then I had Klitschko last night. And then I woke up this morning, read the interviews, watched YouTube videos. I'm like,
that's what's so exciting about this fight, I think, because anything could happen. They could both knock each other out. They could both win on points. Stylistically, it's unbelievable because...
See, I don't mean to cut you off. If it goes to points, I think Joshua loses. I don't think he can outclass Klitschko boxing.
Over 12 rounds.
I do.
He's never been past 7.
Yeah.
Klitschko's been, I think he's had 18 titles. How many title fights has he been in? 12 rounders, a different beast, man.
But think about it. If it does go to points, who's going to be winning these early rounds? It's going to be Joshua, I think, because he's going to be putting the pressure on and scraping the rounds. Where Klitschko will be more, I think he's going to be more negative.
He's real, tentative.
Yeah.
He pulls back with his chin high.
And what Klitschko said, he said, speed kills. He said, but I'll tell you what kills speed is anticipation. So that makes me think he's going to try and be a boring fight. Like he was waiting for Fury, and it never happened.
But Fury, he's so awkward. Like he'd wait, nothing ever happens. With Joshua, I feel like you can wait, but you can't grab him and lay on him. Like Joshua's in such good shape, and he's a workhorse. He's not going to let that boring fight happen where he can lay on him.
Yeah.
And I bet they're preparing for that too.
Yeah, the interesting thing, Klitschko fought everybody for the last 10, 15 years. People shorter and smaller than him.
Yeah.
He could keep him at the end of his jab, that ramrod jab, hold him out, smash him with the right hand left hook, smash him with a straight right, and just hold him off and use his range and his height. And then as soon as he came up against somebody who's his size or taller, which Tyson Fury was, and somebody who can move the feet and move around the ring, he just looked lost.
He shut down.
So the question is, was that Fury fight just purely a stylistic nightmare for him because it was someone taller who was moving his feet and he couldn't get close to him, which I think it was? Or was it the fact that he was old and he was shot? I don't think that was the case. I think Tyson Fury just moved too well and took his feet from him.
I think Tyson Fury makes Anthony Joshua look bad. If Tyson has his brain on fucking straight and not doing blow and all whatever the crazy shit comes in shape, I think he makes Anthony Joshua look bad.
You think?
What's so interesting, Anthony Joshua isn't going to circle the ring and move. He's going to stand right in front of him and try and land combinations and get him out of there.
But the thing is now...
Joshua's been hit, though.
Yeah.
There's a fight where he got hit.
Dylan White rocked him.
Yeah. But that can happen in heavyweights, and he recovered well, and he come back and stopped them.
God, Klitschko lands that right hand, you're not coming back.
I agree.
This fight's so good.
So I hope so. But look, the Tyson Fury one, you seen the build up of that? It was amazing.
But Tyson Fury's down for that. Like he doesn't give a fuck either. He's down to rest and do that. Anthony Joshua's a young lion. He knows the pressure's on him. Yeah. Under Armour.
He's more of an action
fighter.
All
of the UK's behind him. 90,000 people. I guarantee you, he's not like, cool, let's get our rest here. He's gonna make him fucking work.
Oh, he's just gonna win. Try and win. If it's on point,
I bet he knocks him out.
No, I agree. My prediction is.
Joshua knockout
in 8 rounds.
Yeah, I have under 8. I have under 8.
With you.
I have Anthony Joshua knock him out in 8 rounds or under.
I don't think under 8. I think 8 rounds are after. I mean, Klitschko can survive. Klitschko knows how it's 5. Look at his record here.
I think early it's going to be tentative for 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Joshua will start finding his range and it'll just be too athletic, too explosive, too quick.
To try and land a punch on a negative Klitschko is going to be hard.
Super tough.
Yeah. So I think Klitschko is going to be
Klitschko early negative. In the rounds too is super tentative. He doesn't care if he loses a couple. He's long. It's going to be tough to land. But if Joshua goes in there and just murks him in a round, he'd be sick.
I know. And he'd be... I mean, he already...
like I said, 2.2 million... he's doing something right.
Yeah.
He's bigger than people think. Hopefully this gets people to fucking tune into it, the American fans. That
how old is Joshua now? Is he 29 or something like that?
I think he's a bit younger.
28?
28.
27.
27.
According to Wikipedia.
Wow. He's young, good-looking dude, marketable, knockout artist. He's 6'6". He's just a monster, man. He has all the tools. Like I said, Klitschko's had his run. He's great. But for boxing, what we need fucking Anthony Joshua to do.
This is a great fight. this fight had to happen with the heavyweight division. You know,
people say heavyweight. There's a lot of good boxing heavyweight,
Right.
And also, even if Anthony Joshua, for whatever reason, gets by this fight in flying colors, he has a lot of work. Wilder's a tough fight. Ortiz is a tough fight. There's a lot of guys.
Booming,
yeah, heavyweight's a booming. So before we wrap this up, Joshua under 8.
I'm going to say 9. Joshua in 9th round.
Okay, just to be difficult, you got 9, and then Glenn.
Joshua 5th or 6th, I think.
I'm
Mid-round.
taking Joshua on 8 or under. I don't know what the over under is, but I'll take 8 under.
Yeah.
So everyone got Joshua here.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, how can you bet against him? You can't really bet against him, can you? You can't. But the only thing that Klitschko's got really now is the experience. But he's not fought for so long, the ring rust. Like I said, that's going to
I'm excited for it, man. Well, thank you guys for coming on, man. It's been a while. I wanted you guys on. We're looking for an opportunity to get you on. Nothing better than this big-ass boxing fight.
Yeah.
They can find you, obviously, the gym at Box and Burn, at Tony Jeffries on Twitter, Instagram.
Tony_Jeffries. Yeah, you'll find me there.
Was Tony Jeffries not available?
No, I don't know. I've started for
You
that
just wanted
long.
the
I've started
you just wanted
for
the
that long
underscore?
because I'm a social media fucking guru and I
That's
post
true.
the best
You read
posts
everything,
ever.
and you read everything. So negativity gets to you. And then yours is at Glenn Holmes, L.A.
Yeah.
Both of
Glenn
them?
with 2 N's.
And if you guys see me post any training videos, always with Glenn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Go get your ass to Box and Burn. Keep your boners at home. There are beautiful ladies there at Box and Burn, at Tony_Jeffries, at Glenn Holmes, LA. There you have it, guys. Thanks for coming on. All right. That was a fun little interview, little get together. Those are my boys. Tony has a great story, man. So hopefully you guys dug that. And, you know, we don't talk a lot about box on here, but this is a special fight in Tony's story. So I wanted to get him on. And hopefully you guys dig it. But thanks for listening. Thanks for making this show what it is, guys. It's because of you, and I love doing it. I really do. I know we keep saying that, but you guys are the fucking best. So I will see everyone in La Jolla, basically San Diego. I know La Jolla hates when I say that, but for those of you that don't live in Southern California, it's San Diego, all right? So I will see everyone at the Comedy Store. It is sold out. There are no more tickets available, so that's going to be a great show. And then next week, Wednesday night, I'm back at the Ice House in Pasadena, California. There are a few tickets left. I know they just released the comps that I had there, so we're almost sold out. Go to tfatkade.com right now. Again, jokes, babies, titties, breakdown of UFC 211 next week at the Ice House in Pasadena. Let's have a good time, man. I look forward to meeting everyone, and I will be after... hang around after the shows. There's no VIP like the Fighting Kids, so I'm just going to be around taking pictures, high-fiving, let's talk fights, jokes, whatever you want to do. tfatkade.com, Ice House next Wednesday. Those are the only tickets available for my next show. And I apologize to Vegas and the Hard Rock. It's just a TV project I'm dealing with, and I could not get the time off, so we had to cancel the show. I will make it up to you guys. I promise I will be out there for a bigger UFC event. And I owe you one. So Vegas, I love you. Hopefully no hard feelings. It is what it is. I did everything I could to pull it off, and it just didn't work at the end of the day. So Hard Rock, Vinyl, I love you guys. I owe you. I will be back. I apologize to anyone in Vegas who made plans and they had to refund your ticket. But hopefully no hard feelings. And for those that come to the live show, we will have the Roots of Fight Big Brown Breakdown collab available in person. It's the only way to get it now because we are sold out online. I reserved some just for the live show. So I love you guys. As always, bigger, browner, badder. I'm Brendan Schaub. Thanks for listening. See you next week.